just like that, we're back with a brand new episode of Talks with Dorks. But this is a new Talks with Dorks. This is the relaunch of Talks with Dorks. This is season 2, as we're now calling it, of Talks with Dorks. Yes, everything is still going to be the same as it was, but we've added so much. You're probably wondering, why is it just me at the moment? Is Ash going to appear? Unfortunately, Ash isn't. And that's one of the reasons we've kind of rebranded, is because Ash is so busy at the moment with his new job that he can't come in and do episodes as often as I'd like to do episodes. So how are we going to make this grow? We're going to bring new people to the team. We're going to bring in new guest hosts. They're going to come have a chat, but we're going to continue to grow Talks with Dorks. And some of you may be even brand new to this, so much so that you're watching us, not just listening to us. Yes, we now record our episodes on YouTube. So if you're listening and want to see what we're doing, get over to YouTube at Talk Dork Podcast, as the same as every one of our social medias. Anyway, let's stop rambling on about that. Let's introduce the people that matter. Yes, it's not just 2 of us. It's going to be 3. But let's start with the guest host. My man, my friend, my TikTok buddy, Tony of Bingus. Mr. Tony of Bingus. Let's bring him in. Tony?
Ryan, you're right. Thanks for having us. Pleasure to join the team, mate.
That's it. How are you feeling? Are the nerves there? Have you got a little bit of anxiety? Any of that?
I'm aroused. I'm a little bit horny and very excited.
That's how we start Talks with Dorks. As long as we remember there is no age restriction on this, you can say what the fuck you want, mate. But welcome to the team. This is something me and you have kind of talked about for ages, was like doing something like this together. Obviously, now we've got the relaunch of Talks with Dorks and we've got this new way of doing it. You're going to be here a bit more regular, hopefully, and we're going to have lots of these talks.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, and yeah, been a fan of Talks with Dorks for a while. We've been, like I say, TikTok buddies for quite a bit now. We were separated at birth, and this was destiny, mate. This was meant to happen.
Literally, since this we met. I mean, let's introduce the other person in, and then we'll go into how we met and everything, because I'm sure the third person is just sitting there and he's the one doing all the hard work. He's sitting there thinking, I want to join in the chat. So to make this possible on YouTube, and to be honest, we wouldn't have had a Talks with Dorks originally if it weren't for this person. My nephew Ryan is going to be joining us. Ryan, pop yourself up.
Hello.
There he is. Ryan is our producer for Talks with Dorks. He's also going to be a third member of the team. I mean, you never know. Eventually, I've got other people that want to come have chats as well. We might even have 6 of us at some point talking. It's going to be a lot of ego and a lot of banter. Yeah. But we can go for it. Ryan, welcome to the team.
Thank you very much.
Going to get a bit confusing too, Ryan. So if I start referring to you as Woody, Tony, you might have to get used to that as well. Yeah. Call him Woody. Just because otherwise 2 Ryans gets confusing, because he'll go Ryan and I'll go, yeah.
We'll both be answering, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the group chat's been really hard to keep up with. So Ryan Woody is already Woody in my phone now already.
Oh, good.
He's Woody already.
Yeah.
Obviously we've got even down to like stuff we've written down for this to prepare for this is, let me just get my notes up, because usually, again, we started with notes when we first did our first ever episode, and then notes went out the window. This will probably happen with us, but at least we've got something to look over and go, oh my God, we've got loads of stuff to talk about, including a few trailers that have come out. But I'm just rambling on. Let's talk about how we all know each other. Well, obviously, Ryan is my nephew. Unfortunately, he cannot get away from me. No. Also, my former radio co-host presenter. Like I said, this is where Talks with Dorks started, how we got the idea to start a Geek podcast. Tony, TikTok is the best way of explaining how we found each other. Separated at birth. It's like Escape to Witch Mountain, but Escape to TikTok Mountain. Do you remember
that? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first thing we met, I was going to say it was a Keenan and Kel video that I put up, but no, that was quite some time on. I used to do, I think it was Animal Hospital. I think Animal Hospital was one of the first ones that I put up, and you duetted, then you duetted a bunch more, then you started commenting, then obviously I engaged back with you, and then, we ended up exchanging numbers and gone from there, and we realised, yeah, we are separated birth. we like all the same things. We've watched all the same shows. We may even crossed paths a couple of times and not knowing it.
Wrestling
But yeah,
shows,
and now
maybe.
here we are.
It is weird, and it's like we had this discussion yesterday. You're 1986 like me. When's your birthday?
September.
So I'm like four. I'm May. So it's like I'm like literally 4 months older than you. And we literally both big fans of the 90s. Ryan caught the end of the 90s because he's 10 years younger than us.
Yeah,
Fucker.
just about, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. What was it you said? You said something earlier about I wasn't even born then. Oh, what Beverly Hills Cop, because he was watching Axel F, the
Yeah.
trailer, and he was Beverly Hills Cop. Has he seen him? I was like, no. I said the last one was made on a Google. He was like 1994. He went, I wasn't even born. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I had to get his banned from a podcast already.
That's one way of doing it.
But yeah, Tony, that's kind of the be all and end all of it. When it was just, I started with a duet, and then it became like a. So you like this stuff too? You watch this stuff? You know this stuff? Do you remember this stuff? Even like the music and stuff like that. Do you remember this song? No, but oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Couldn't have found a better brother.
There we go. And now you've got an adopted nephew as well.
Baggage, I'll take it. Cool, man.
Right, so where do we want to start, boys? We've got loads of trailers to talk about. We've got some wrestling to talk about, which is something we don't usually talk about on Talks with Dorks, and I'll explain that a bit later. But obviously, Ryan's wrote up this little kind of script for us. It starts with the trailers. So we start with the trailers and work our way down the list so we don't get confused.
Yeah, do we start with Tall, Dark and Horny at 12 o'clock? Surely. That
I'm
caught
looking
my...
at Tall, Dark and Horny on my screen right now. And wearing an Arsenal top, but we won't talk about that because we don't do football. But yes, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm assuming, I know Ryan's only watched maybe one of the trailers, but Tony, have you seen? I've seen 3 trailers. There was 2 trailers released almost in the same day. The official trailer and then the international trailer. Have you watched both?
Right, so here's the thing. I intentionally do not watch trailers of films that I want to watch. So any trailers that I've watched is purely just for the show here. So I've watched probably the longest trailer. It was about a 3-minute trailer. So I'm guessing I've seen the other trailers within that, and absolutely love it. I can't wait. I'm buzzing. Bill Murray being just peak Bill Murray is worth the ticket price. And I'm on the positive side of this. I liked the reboot of Ghostbusters, not the women's version, and not because it was women, just because it was actually the drizzling shits. It was fucking terrible. But the newer one, the reboot, I was fully on board with. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm really keen and excited to see this the second one, Tall, Dark and Horny.
Tall, Dark, and that's what we should call it, Ghostbusters Tall, Dark and Horny. So obviously, again, I've brought this up before about the women's. I actually like them as a cast. Chris Hemsworth was funny, but a little bit too dumbed down in that. But to me, I always think that Ghostbusters, the colours in it was too vibrant. It wasn't scary enough. It was like the Scooby-Doo movie. That's what it reminded me of. And I actually like the Scooby-Doo movies, but I was like, I've seen this before. This is too colourful, too bright, it's too corny for a Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters has to have an element of fear. That's why we liked it. It took me until only about 7 years ago in Ghostbusters 2. If you've seen it, you know, when they go down the tunnel, they're walking down the train tracks and they see the ghost train. It was only about 7 years ago I was able to watch that without my hand over my face. I realised at that moment, I was like, I've never actually watched this bit because I've always been petrified of this moment.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. Now you're over that. Now you're a big boy. We'll take the plastic sheets off your bed and now you can watch real scary films.
Oh, I love scary films now, but as a kid, I was fucking petrified of it. Freddy Krueger and Pennywise used to scare the shit out of me. Now I love them. Literally love them. It's just one of those. I hit to about 12, and then Scream was the movie that made me realise that horror. I mean, this is the one that can actually happen, and this is cool and fun. So why am I scared of the ones that physically can't happen? Well, we don't know about Freddy Krueger. He could be real.
You know what? As a kid, like, I watched quite a few horrors. Like my mum was into them, so like, you know, I'd end up having movie nights with her and we'd watch some. And her favourites were Friday 13th series. And as a kid, I found them quite scary because, well, it is, isn't it? You got Jason, hockey mask, machete, killing folk. But then got a bit older into my teen years, and I didn't find any horror movie actually scary. Like I found them, I don't know, a bit ridiculous, and obviously it's unbelievable. It's a horror movie, but nothing in it scared me. Like I had this mentality, oh, this is just a film. But then I watched I'm going to say it was more of a sci-fi thriller called The McPherson Tapes. And it was about a family at Thanksgiving who live out on on a farm. It's all shaky cam stuff like Blair Witch, and aliens come and invade just their home. Not Doesn't look like they're invading the country or anything like that. No Independence Day. They're just invading this home, and because it was shaky cam, and also the other caveat to this is I just finished an all-nighter and come home and it was on Sky Movies at like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Started watching it, had work at like 7 o'clock in the morning, so watched that. Off I went to work, and then I was a bit shook up about the film anyway. But then I was walking up the road to the shop I was working at the time, and scrawled on the wall in lipstick, I think it says "They're here." And I was like, why that now? Why? And yeah, ever since that film is now the scariest film I've ever seen, just because of that coincidence and obviously being off my nut when I watched it. Yeah, horror movies not so much. McPherson Tapes, low budget C movie, shaky cam nonsense, scared the shit out of me.
So the ones that scare me now, and I actually love watching them, are ghost ones, are ghost movies. Because it's always that misconception with ghosts, like, are they real? Like, and you could, it's just, you're watching a scary movie with a ghost, scares the fuck out of you. You're laying in bed, you hear a creak, you're like, oh fuck, I'm out. Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm gone.
Fair enough.
It's one of those, like, I don't know why that they're the ones that get me the most. Like say, you watch Freddy, and realistically, Freddy's fucking hilarious, man. He's funny as fuck. More than he is scary. The one he looks the scariest though, and I always think still gets me, is New Nightmare, when it's meant to be set in the real world, because that was so more realistic than the rest. Rye's probably sitting there listening. I'm not sure. Obviously, we can't see when he pops up on the screen when we're recording. We'll only know when we watch back. But are you back there, Rye? Scary movies. What's your take?
I love them.
Yeah.
I can't watch them now. My missus absolutely hates them, so I tend to watch them on my own. But I love them. Absolutely love them.
And Ghostbusters, right? This is where that age thing comes in again, Tony. You said earlier you've only seen the original, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch the ladies one. I heard you talk about it on the podcast, but yeah, I've only seen the originals. I probably watched it with you, to be fair.
More than likely. I mean, this is that thing, Tony. I think now we've got a producer. Now we've got this. When we should give him homework, because we're the guys that love the 90s so much and the 80s. We're gonna have to give him homework of some classic movies. You've got to watch Ghostbusters 1. You've got to watch 2. You can forget the women's. Don't worry. Don't waste your time. And then go straight to Afterlife and be ready for Frozen Empire, because this fucking film looks good. And do you think, like, I think one of the best things about it, and I've said it so many times, is the fact that it's been taken on by Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, the original director. Who else's hands would it have been better in? And originally, he didn't want to be involved in Ghostbusters. He wanted to start his own legacy. But now, going forward, this fucking films look great. And you look at the trailers, and it's like, there is everything I want. The first one had all the nostalgia in the right place, not overdoing it, even though it was literally quoting original parts. It was done so tasteful, and it looks like they're doing it again. And this one looks like a live action version of the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah, and if they in the last film where they kept like a load of the score as well, like some of the that opening music, that opening theme, just tingles, goosebumps straight away. Knew what he was in for.
Again, I've told this story so many times. I went to see it with Ash, and when we went, it was me, him, and our friend Steve. And Ash is like the most unemotional person in the world. You never see him get sad about anything. And we're sitting watching the film, and obviously the bit when you see the three OGs come back, spoilers, right? And then the hand. I'm going to say no more, but the hand goes right. I leant forward because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I can't cry in front of Ash. I looked down. Steve was kind of like this, put his hand up, and Ash just didn't look right. And at the very end of the film, when it ended, Ash was the one that leant forward and went, "Well, that was fucking emotional, wasn't it?" I'm glad you said Ash because, like, if you said it, that means it was fucking emotional because nothing breaks him. It's such a good way to continue those films, and it's just a shame they waited so long and we had no Harold Ramis. Obviously, that's Egon,
Yeah,
right? You don't know.
Yeah, I will get
yeah.
around to
It was
watching it. That's my homework.
you when you I think it was on Twitter. You might have made said that anecdote about you and Ash seeing it, and you sort of like having a little breakdown and stuff. And I was like, oh, fucking Ryan, a little ballerina. Like, it's not gonna, it's Ghostbusters. How's that going to be emotional? Like, even though I had the idea of what was going to happen, what set you off, when I watched it, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough for me to get choked up on films and that, but that one, yeah, it was. I think it was a mixture of having the fourth guy back, but we know he's passed in real life. He's passed in the movies now, but it was whether people knock the CGI and the effort they put in, like it was just tastefully done. The no words part as well. So you like the emotion was just in the eyes and just in the moment. Got me, majorly got me.
It is. I don't want to say too much more because we've given him homework and we don't want to spoil some of the biggest
Yeah,
moments
yeah, yeah.
for Ryan. But that's now 6 films because I know I'm going to skip in ahead on the list, but I'm going to jump to one because we're talking the retro stuff that's coming back. There's 6 films that I know Ryan needs to watch. Well, obviously, Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife. He also needs to watch Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3
Yeah.
because Axel F is coming and it's coming to Netflix, man. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I would happily go watch it in the cinemas, but I feel like that's kind of the right platform for this because it's kind of Netflix are doing those comedy retro-y stuff that work with them. Like you might not get enough people go to the cinemas to make it uh what's the word I'm looking for? Not budgetable, but like
Profitable.
profitable. That's the word. See, that's why we have a producer because he's there with big words. Profitable. Axel F, if you know your history, is Beverly Hills Cop. Tony, I take it you've seen the original 3.
I have. Don't ask me which one's which though. Like I've
Or
watched them all a bunch of times. I just can't tell you which one is 1, 2, or 3. I know what happens in all of them. I know the story, but yeah. Favorite one is obviously the fairground one, the theme park.
everyone says that's the least favorite. That's my favorite. That's the one I watched the most as a kid because it was the one that was
Yeah,
always
yeah.
on telly. We
Um,
used to get back in the 90s, right? Before streaming and live and everything like that. We didn't have the option to go on streaming and Netflix or anything like that to watch stuff. I know you probably do know this, but instead of like on telly, instead of getting like part 1 of a movie, you used to get part 3 or 4. So
And then you wouldn't see part one.
like
Yeah.
you'd never see part 1 unless you went out and physically bought it on VHS.
Yeah.
You don't get the luxuries you kids get these days. But the trailers for Axel F, right? Straight away, again, nostalgia. I mean, Ryan's opinion might be completely different because he's not seen the original 3, but I'm sure he'll probably look at it in a way of, oh, at least he knows Eddie Murphy is. But
This is the one I didn't watch because you said save
oh,
it.
okay,
You said save it, watch the 1, 2, and 3, then watch the trailer. So
good point.
next
Good
next
point.
time we podcast, I'll come back with some of my homework and tell you about it.
do you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
think might be interesting for Beverly Hill Cop for you, Axel F, is I think unlike Ghostbusters, you could do with seeing them if you haven't already seen them, so you know the history behind how that's happened. I think with Axel F, I think it's going to be it's going to be a cop buddy movie. That might be standalone. It'd be interesting to see if you watch that first, what you think of it compared to like me and Rai, who's got that nostalgia, who's got that knowledge of what happened before, and see if we're watching it through rose tinted glasses or not.
Yeah. Okay. This might
Yeah.
be something we revisit then.
Yeah. Oh,
For future
absolutely.
podcast. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about stuff that's coming up.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're going to be talking about this stuff when it's out and whether we actually enjoyed it or not. But obviously, the big nostalgia bits in it are a lot of the original cast, including I can't remember his name, but the obviously there was the one partner of the two detectives that was in all three, weren't there? Billy.
Yeah,
He
what was
all three of
his real
them.
name? Judge, isn't it? What's his real name?
Judge
Judge.
Reinhold.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Judge Reinhold. Oh, fuck, he's brilliant. He's in all three, but I think it was at least the third one. They changed or it might have even been 2 and 3. No, it was just the third one. They changed the partner to someone else. It was good. It was a good cover, but obviously they've gone back and got the original 2 partners there. And if you know your Beverly Hills Cop, the bit that got me was that one clip. Aquel,
Yeah, of course.
you're
Yeah, exactly
Foley,
what I was going to go for. Yeah.
Serge. It's Serge. You make it sound like a laundry detergent. He's fucking brilliant. Again, right, everybody's sitting there going, what's they fucking talking about Aquel? Trust me,
Those
Ryan.
those scenes from the old movies were all ad lib as well. There was no script for those two, or there was a script and they said fuck it.
Really?
Which is some of the best movies. That's how some of the best movies are made. Like Bill Murray's an ad libber, isn't he? And he's one of the
Yeah.
best actors there are. A lot of Ghostbusters ad libs. They didn't know. I think they were still writing parts of it while they were filming with Ghostbusters. And you look at that and you think, how could that not have been scripted? How could it not have been already planned out? But they got the comedy timing so fucking well with these films. Now everything's too scripted sometimes. But that's gone down the nostalgia route. Next one on the list, boys, is it's still a nostalgia, but it's a reboot of stuff we watched as kids. Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla versus Kong / Bumblebee / Mini Kong. We've all watched the trailers.
Yeah, Mini Kong was one of my favorites. I like the little Mini Kong.
But that's what I like, that they're expanding the universe on it. Tony looks like he wasn't too keen on Mini Kong.
No, I'm just not keen on the whole like Godzilla franchise. To be honest, it's just not something that tickles my pickle. Just I've watched a bunch of the old ones, like in parts as well, not the whole films. I've watched the dubbed Japanese stuff, and I've watched the cartoon I watched in the 90s, obviously.
We're coming back to that in a second. Carry on.
The Matthew Broderick, was it 96, 97? I had that on VHS, so I must have watched that. I don't have much memories of it, but yeah, it's not same with King Kong. Just 2 franchises. Even though they're mashed together, it's not sparked my interest that much, to be honest.
So I was in and out of watching the films before they joined together, but then we just started the original podcast when Godzilla. This was part of when the films were coming out straight to cinema, so we could review them as soon as they come out. We didn't have to go to cinema, so we had like Wonder Woman 84, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla Kong. So Warner Brothers were smashing it with the films coming out, and Godzilla Kong I loved, and I just sat and because I was doing the same. I'd watch part of Godzilla, whatever it was, Godzilla or King of Monsters, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm bored of this. I want to see a bit more action. I think it was lacking. And then I rewatched them all. I'm like, no, to be fair, I'm actually quite hyped about it. But going back to that Godzilla 90s cartoon, I mentioned this when me and Ash talked about the first trailer for Godzilla versus Kong. And I said, do you remember his little buddy? And he went, no, Godzuki. Do you remember Godzuki?
Only now you've mentioned it, yeah. It's a memory unlocked. That, yeah.
Right, open that door. The little version of Godzilla wings. Godzuki, Godzilla, Godzuki. Right, I'm like, if they're bringing Mini Kong in it, please fucking tell me they're bringing Godzuki in it. I'll be all over that. They've done fucking what's it called? Mecha Godzilla. We've got Bumblebee armed Kong coming, Mini Kong. Godzuki's got to make an appearance. That will fucking us 90s kids will fucking mark the shit out of that. Little wrestling quote.
Ryan pop.
Yeah, straight away, a little wrestling pop. But yeah, so if none of you want to talk about Godzilla versus Kong too much, Ryan, have you got much to say about Godzilla Kong?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Seeing them team up this time instead of fighting, because I found the last one where they were fighting a little bit boring. But looking forward to seeing what route they go down with it this time. To be fair,
I like that. See, I like that because most of so you'll probably know, like when they do the versus ones, Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason, like Freddy versus Jason, who would you say won that movie? You've seen it, I'm assuming. Who won?
Yeah, I saw it once when it came out. I think Freddy was the winner. Yeah, Freddy, because he dragged him down at the end, right? Like Undertaker dragging Kane through the ring.
It technically everyone says Jason won because Jason comes out of the lake holding Freddy's head. But
Yeah, I don't remember that bit now. Yeah.
see, I remember this, and at the end, Freddy looks at the camera and winks. I'm like, this is Freddy. He's a mystical fucking being. He hasn't lost. So you haven't given us a clear fucking winner, really. You give us Alien versus Predator. Technically, you could say the Predator won, but then you watch at the end of it, Alien comes out of his fucking chest. So who fucking won? Like,
Maybe
give us
maybe that's the magic behind these films. You know, again, like let's refer to wrestling a bit. When you've got face versus face, you've got to find a dusty finish so no one loses, but someone wins, but no one's discredited. You know.
yeah, oh, absolutely. But for me, at the same time, like with Godzilla versus Kong, they clearly make Kong the loser, and they mention that in the trailer. They say last time he was getting his ass whooped by Godzilla. So that's what I'm saying. That they're actually acknowledging that Kong won. I like that.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, it's a whole wrestling reference.
They gave him some upgrades as well. That Kong. That's what they say that in the trailer as well. That Kong
Yeah,
got some
exactly.
upgrades. But yeah, I'm loving the wrestling references coming out. That's
We
more
get-
my cup of tea. That is in wrestling.
and that's only recent, right? We'll delve into some wrestling after we've done the trailers. But again, with the whole wrestling side of things, because of mine and Ashley's attachment to wrestling and doing wrestling, Ash has never been one to want to fully talk about wrestling. I've always wanted to. I'm happy about it. But Ash is like, I'd rather let's just talk about the geeky shit. But we can talk wrestling until we're blue in the face. And I forget we're recording this on camera, and I've got wind because of the cough. So I apologise. Right, skip on to the next trailer then, the one that's come up on the list. It's that big one that's come out. And I was in Benidorm and we watched this at 3 o'clock in the morning after we'd been on a night out. I made me, Ash, and a couple of the other boys sit down. We had a 75-inch telly and I recorded our reactions to us watching Deadpool Wolverine. Mate, what do we think, boys?
Wet. I'm
Yeah,
wet.
Yeah, I can't wait.
it looks so fucking good. They gave us enough, but didn't give too much as well. Like, I was gutted that they didn't show more Wolverine, but we know he's coming. He's literally called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Hold it back a little bit. And obviously, that was just a teaser trailer. So the next trailer will probably have more. And Tony won't watch it, like Ash doesn't like watching too much and spoiling it. But yeah, fuck yeah, that film looks good.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Teaser trailer,
What
man. That
did
was
you-
2 minutes, and I feel like I've got a full gist of it. Shit, man. When the full trailer comes out, it's like my problem with trailers is you're watching half the film, and of course, trailers big it up and put their best foot forward. So you literally just see not just a few of the highlights; you see every best bit. So yeah, my little rant's over. But yeah, the trailer I saw of it again, I only watched it for this because there was no way I would have watched it otherwise. Yeah, man, buzzing. It looks as funny as Deadpool should be.
Yeah.
But it looks like there's gratuitous amounts of violence. I'm liking it, which is quite Deadpool. But I don't know. There's a different feel to the violence. Just what I've seen in the trailer. Definitely
It's
less comical.
got to be toned down a little bit because it's now the Marvel thing, and that's what I think everyone's thinking is like, how are they going to introduce this? And there's that comic. I think Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. I think it's going to be based around that, but more Deadpool kills the Fox universe. That where he's come from. So it leads into what we're going to
Yeah.
get. Oh, I mean, we still don't know that. Obviously, they're starting to mention X-Men. I don't know if either of you seen the Marvels. I
Mhm.
want just to watch it and see the end credits trailer where multiverse. You see Beast and Binary from the Fox universe. So there's the X-Men. But are they the X-Men we're going to get in the full MCU universe, or is it going to be a whole new team? I think it should be because they're all getting quite old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Marvel MCU could do with bringing some of our X-Men into it because I don't know about you guys. The whole MCU kind of really petered out for me after Infinity War and Endgame. Like, yeah, I cared. Yeah, I watched WandaVision and I watched Hawkeye and I tried my best, but it's hard for me to care now. Really hard for me to care.
Massively.
With a massive caveat for the Spider-Man films. Those I could watch all day.
Again, this is something we've spoke about so many times on here. Superhero fatigue. is something that is so that our world, and we love it because we're all geeks, have been dominated by superhero movies. And now, like before lockdown, we were getting maximum 3 Marvel movies a year, and that was a lot. Like then we're getting 3 shows, couple of movies. We're trying to watch this. We're trying to catch up with that. I mean, I never bothered with. I mean, I watched Jessica Jones. I never watched Shield. I never watched Iron Fist. Jessica Jones, I loved, but I just couldn't do the rest. I was like, I'm trying to keep up with too much at the moment. So Marvel needs something, and a lot of people are saying, they could have finished out this phase with an Avengers movie. Yeah, but what Avengers do we care about at the moment? Because the Marvels, yeah, Spider-Man, like you say, he's great, but his film was ended in a way like he's not really an Avenger anymore. Everyone's fucking forgot who he is. So we're going to get more of those, but are they going to be separate now? Or we don't know. They're bringing out these abominations of movies like Morbius. And what's the other one they've just Madam Web? I will. I've always said I'm never going to watch Morbius because I was excited for it, and I started 20 minutes of it on Netflix and I stopped it. I couldn't do it. Madam Web, all I've heard is just it's horrendous. Like, why are you making bad movies?
Do
Why?
you know what? Madam Web sounds so bad. I feel like I'd want to watch it. Like, unlike Morbius, where people, there was a small corner of the room where like, no, it was all right. I didn't mind it. People hating on it too much. Same with Black Adam. There was a load of that with,
I love
lots of
Black
people
Adam.
hating it. With a couple of people saying, yeah, no, it's not as bad as everyone makes out to be. Because Madam Web, even what's her name, 50 Shades lady, who's Madam Web, has done everything she can to sort of discredit herself from the film and remove herself from it, and actively gun it on press tours. I'm like, shit. If the main star is dogging on it that much, I need to see how terrible it is, and see if it is on par with like The Room. Not a Marvel film, but The Room's being so bad it's actually great. Maybe
Yeah.
Madam Web ends up like that.
I don't know, like, yeah, and like I saw the trailer for we spoke about before on here about the Craven the Hunter trailer. Ash was excited. I was like, it looks the bollocks, but I'm like, I thought the same with the Morbius trailer, and then before it come out, it just got. I was like, I can't watch it. People are saying the best part about it was Matt Smith, which and I love Matt Smith. I'm a Doctor Who fan, so but I couldn't. I was so excited about it, and I'm one that's defended. I mean, I've literally got fucking Jared Leto on my arm. I've defended his Joker that we never saw enough, but I can't defend when a movie's that bad that no one cares about it before it even comes out.
Hmm.
It's
No, I feel you, but yeah, the morbid curiosity's got me.
absolutely. I mean, I'll probably again. I'll wait for streaming. I'll give it a go, and if
Yeah, yeah.
like yes, I'll give it up if I need to. But speaking about X-Men, Deadpool, and Wolverine. Another little retro thing's coming back, and I didn't think about this one before, Tony. The X-Men from our childhood, X-Men '97,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
cartoon, which is supposedly like He-Man Revelations and Revolutions, is a direct continuation of the cartoons we watched as kids. I wasn't a massive X-Men fan. I was more Batman animated series, but I know enough of it and I've watched enough of it to be excited about this, and we'll probably rewatch them again before.
Yeah, I'll definitely jump on a couple of episodes before it comes out just to get that buzz, get that feel, and just unlock a few more memories. Um, I'm quite excited about it. It looks good. Animation looks great. The all the cast is there. It looks like they haven't like tried to upgrade it too much. Yeah, it's full HD, 4K ready, and all the rest of it. But other than that, it looks pretty spot on to me. I'm very intrigued to see what the story is, because I remember the ending of the original cartoon quite well. So I'm really intrigued to see what the direction is. Whether it's just like sort of like inmates run the asylum, and they're looking for that master, that discipline to keep them on track, or yeah, no, really intrigued to see what's going on. And to all the guys out there that are pissing and moaning that they can't wank to Rogue anymore because she hasn't got a nice bubble butt anymore. Fucking hell, man, sort it out.
Watch episodes of Gladiators and see Jet looking good. Go back and watch old X-Men if you want to that side of things. That's what the internet is for, boys and girls. We may be old, but we know what it's good for.
And you know what? Just on that subject, this covers a lot of people moaning, right? When something like this happens, when X-Men comes out and it's got a fresh lick of paint, or um, an old show from our childhood comes out, or an old movie comes out and it's revamped, it's redone, it's shinier, it's glossier, it's not the same. People are like, oh, childhood ruined. It's not. You've experienced that in your childhood. It's still there in your childhood. You can go back and watch those anytime. We've got this thing called the internet. It's fucking great for doing stuff like that. But then also, this is not for you anymore. If you don't like the sound of it, it's just not for you, innit? Just let your kids watch it. That's who it's meant to be for. Like, settle yourselves down. Go watch the old stuff, man. It's there to watch.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's there, and let's say like I watched the He-Man Masters of the Revolution, whatever it was, Master of the Universe Revelation when it first come out, and that people were going for Kevin Smith, and I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith. Again, he's a reason why I do podcasting, because I love his podcast, and he was obviously part of that, and they were going for it. Like, they were like death threats and stuff like, you've ruined Master of the Universe. And he said the same thing. There is literally another He-Man show coming. If you don't like mine, you can watch that one. You don't like, if you don't like it, you don't have to go on and threaten people and people just because you didn't like something. But now the second series has come out and he's getting praised for it, and he's like, hey, I'm involved. It's good, and I loved it. And I He-Man, I wasn't a massive like watcher when I was a kid, but I watched it enough. It's just one of the, it's like back then it was on, and the kids, you'd put it on, but I wouldn't have known how the story ended then. But I watched this one and I was like, I'm invested in this fucking story, because again, it is something from my childhood. I'm happy to see anything. Like, question for you, and I'll ask both of you the same thing. So, Brian, if you're not there, pop back in. Tony, I'm hoping your answer will be the same as me, but I will not be offended. Who's your Batman?
It's Michael Keaton.
Good answer. Ryan, I'm assuming yours would be different.
I actually don't know.
Right, go away. Okay. So most, obviously, people at our age will generally say Bale, and I've never taken away from Bale. I think he was great, but my Batman is and always will be Michael Keaton. And I've said it a million times. People may not like The Flash. I actually really fucking enjoyed that film, not just because of Michael Keaton. I got to see it a month before everybody else. I fucking loved that movie. I really enjoyed it, and the fact is, it had Michael Keaton 30 years later being a 70-year-old Batman and whooping some fucking ass.
Yeah. Best Batman. My hesitation wasn't for Bale. I had to stop and think, because I'm going to say it. I didn't like Bale as Batman. As Bruce Wayne, he was all right. I didn't like him as Batman.
Voice?
But yeah, if it wasn't Keaton, I was thinking Val Kilmer, and it's not because of my love for what's old and 90s and nostalgia and all the rest of it. And I just again, I feel like he was a good balance of a good Batman and a good Bruce.
Yes. And you look into it, like when Ben Affleck was cast, he was absolutely, people were like, no, and because the first thing everyone said was he was shit at Daredevil. No, he was a great Daredevil. The story was shit, and he's an amazing actor. So even Pattinson, I was like, whoa. I mean, I actually like the Twilight films. I've read the book, so I watched Twilight, but it was a sparkly vampire style thing. But I'm like, if you watch anything other than Twilight, the guy's a fucking phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
And that's what you need, is someone that is a method actor, someone that can do the job. And he may not be bulky, but you watch that Batman movie, fucking hell, it's good.
Who was
do
it?
you know what?
Sorry.
I had to turn it off halfway through.
Who was it that was in the Dark Knight Rises? Who was that? Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah.
That's the one I like, because I like them two films.
So I'm saying your era, that he is your Batman, because I mean, 97 was the last actual Batman film before Batman Begins. You were one.
Yeah.
And
it was George Clooney with his bat nipples.
Listen, sorry, but I will openly admit this, because I think it's one of those things where in 1997, I was fucking keen for George Clooney to be Batman, and I love them films. It's only, I think, now that it's cool to say you didn't like George Clooney because adults didn't like him. As a kid, I fucking loved Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. I really liked Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. I fucking loved Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I loved Chris O'Donnell as Robin, and I was really hoping we got a Nightwing version of him, but people didn't like it. Adults didn't like him.
Yeah, do you know what? I as a kid, I didn't hate those films. In fact, I quite liked them. I think it was, being a kid, it was cartoony enough and camp enough. It reminded me of the Adam West Batmans and the animated series in one here. It was futuristic in its bright colors, and it was a lot faster and a lot louder and vibrant. So as a kid, that's what kids like. So of course, I was into that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was Al Dwayne, wasn't he, back then? So just everything he touched, you praise. Jim Carrey was just the acting comedian of the 90s. So again, much love for him. Didn't care for George Clooney. I didn't even know who he was. I'd never seen ER by that point, and he was just a guy who played Batman for me. But yeah, looking back, they are really bad, like scripted films and really badly played out. But one thing of note I'm going to say is Jim Carrey as the Riddler. If he played the Riddler in any other, like if he was the Riddler in the Patterson movie or the Bale movies, Oscar winner, I reckon.
Oh, mate, he could have, yeah, absolutely. Because obviously it was camped up and it was Jim Carrey at campy, but when he plays something a little bit more serious, he's even better. Have you ever seen Number 23? Did you ever see that? Oh man, right. Honest to God, this film, I'm assuming you would never have even heard of it. It's called The Number 23. It was like Jim Carrey's first proper serious, like super serious. It's a thriller. So he's no comedy whatsoever. And it's all about the number 23 and the twist and how it plays out. I fucking love that film. But again, people will say, it's not Jim Carrey, it's too serious. I'm like, no, watch that fucking film and see how fucking talented this guy is. Because he's not just a laugh a minute. He's a fucking good actor.
Might give that a watch. Just Googled it. Come out in 2007.
Yeah, mate. It's fucking, it's so good. It's such a weird film. It's kind of like a noir film. Is it like a noir film, like Dick Tracy but darker, or the reference there, Dick Tracy, like Sin City but darker? It's one of those that looks old fashioned, but it's modern and dark and so fucking good. I love that film. Back to Christian Bale as Batman. I'm going to agree with you, Tony. I do like Christian Bale. I do like them films, but Bale is not my top 3 Batman. And people go, oh, well, what do you mean? They're great fucking films, but my Batman will always be Keaton. Second will probably. I'm stuck here between Adam West because I grew up watching him as well as much as Keaton, and and George Clooney, because they were the ones. And Falcon, there. But third, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was a fucking super fucking Batman, and he is the most. Next to probably Pattinson, is the most comic accurate Batman by the look, the way he acted, the fucking suit, everything about it was Dark Knight, and which was some of the biggest comics from the 80s. And I fucking love my 80s comics. Not as much as I love Superman, The Death of Superman. That's my favorite comic of all time. But we're diving. We didn't have anything DC to talk about, but I could talk Batman and Superman all fucking day. Should we move on to the next trailer? Oh no, we've got no trailers left, boys. We've got just me talking about the film that none of you have seen part 1 to. June.
Yeah. And you'd barely seen it by the time you went to see the part 2.
I don't know if I told you this, Tony. So my friend, as I said, I got to see The Flash a month early. I've got a friend that works at Global Radio, which is Capital, Heart, all the big stations. He gets tickets to see movies early because he's part of the press. And I got to see Shazam a week before it come out. I got to see The Flash a month before it come out. So you imagine, that was I've been so hyped for that. The fact that I then was like, yeah, I've seen this film, but then couldn't talk about it for a month killed me. I couldn't talk about it with anyone because I'm like, I can't spoil it for people. Or I loved it, and then everyone else didn't.
Anyone telling you not to talk, that's big trouble, man. You trying to keep anything in.
You think it's a great idea, but give the guy with ADHD and anxiety a film that's a month before everyone else. chewing my fucking finger. I but then I got to see June 2. I had wanted to watch June 1, and purely because, again, going back to Kevin Smith, his Fat Man Beyond podcast, they were talking about, they'd seen the original, they were big fans of the original, they were raving about this film, and I was like, I will watch it, I will watch it. It was on Netflix, I will watch it. And my friend texted me saying, I can get tickets to June 2. Do you want to go see it? I was like, yeah, but I'll have to see June 1 before I go. And then he got the tickets last minute, confirmed them last minute, and he was like, right, we need to fucking watch this film. We're going on Wednesday to see it. So I watched the first 20 minutes, and I spent the first 20 fucking minutes of this movie looking at it. Instead of looking at who these characters were, I was looking, going, oh, look, it's Thanos. Oh, look, it's Moon Knight. Oh, Aquaman's in it. So instead of learning their names in these, I was just thinking about what they played before. So I didn't have a clue who these fucking characters were. And my friend Keith was like, yeah, I did the same thing. The first half hour was really hard because I was like, oh, that's. And then I ended up finishing this movie because I was going into Leicester Square in London to watch it. I ended up finishing this movie as I got to Tottenham Court Road. I was watching it on my phone. I'm finished watching it off. And when I met Keith, he was like, what did you think? I was like, I don't know what I've just watched. So I went into part 2 and I was like, you know what, this film, I'm not going to be distracted or anything else. I'm going to watch this film. I'm going to really enjoy it. And it is a fucking great movie. I can't knock that, but I don't understand it. It's not my cup of tea. And there are literally bits where there was probably 300 to 400 people in this IMAX screening for the press, where literally people, they'd say something, everyone had burst out laughing. And I just look at people and go, I don't get it. And then in the end, people would laugh, and I just go, I just joined in because I felt I look weird just not laughing. Great movie, but if you're not into that sort of thing, don't go watch it because you won't understand it. It's really fucking complicated. It's like Star Wars beats Game of Thrones. I love Star Wars. Game of Thrones, I should watch. I've never watched it. I like it both of you like to say on this.
No, same. I tried watching Game of Thrones 3, 4, maybe 5 times. I never got past like episode 3 or 4. And
was it the sex happened and you started wanking and thought, you know, I don't need this anymore?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I was just absolutely hammering the lube, and I was just like, I can't. This is going on for how many seasons? Like, come on, I've got stuff to do. I've got to go work.
I only need 3 minutes of this.
No, but for real, I just didn't care. I didn't care. People were like, oh, you got to wait it out because, that guy, he's a part of this thing. And then they go to so-and-so, and then that person dies. And I'm just like, I couldn't care. And I felt like it was a bombardment. Like, you sit down watching it, and it wasn't like eased in. They just came in full-fisted straight away. And it was like character. And it's like, hold on, I don't understand who's who and who's in what family or walking to where and all the rest of it. And yeah, I just wanted to go outside and play with some twigs instead.
Sticks and stones may break my boat. I'm not watching Game of Thrones.
Exactly that, man.
I've just looked, right, and this is usually I just have on the other screens. I've got 2 screens set up. Usually I just have the recording going on, and I can always time check. And I thought, I probably longer than I thought we've been recording. But by me, I know we started recording a minute or 2 before we actually started the episode. But we're at 48 minutes already, and I loving the dynamic and the conversation. And I also feel the conversation's flowing more freely the more we're getting used to this. We're forgetting that we're recorded. Yeah. It's what makes Talks with Dorks. Yeah. That's all the trailers to talk about. Ryan's like excited now. I know what's coming up next on the list. It's something I can actually get involved in, and I'm used to. Wrestling! Throw up the click time, boys. Throw up the click time. Yeah, boy. Ryan's like, I don't know what that is. You're that deep into it. You're a WWE fan now, Ryan, which is fucking... Tony, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to sort of go. My nephew is now, you're 28 this year, aren't you?
Yeah, 28, yeah.
28 this year. Remember, throughout most of his life, I was a professional wrestler, and he used to come to all my shows. And he's only got into it since I stopped wrestling. And that
I used to watch it as a kid, and then grew out of it a bit. Now I'm just back into it a lot.
That's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes.
We'll grow out of it when we get the realization when someone goes, that's fake, right? Like, what? It's like the whole Santa thing, and we won't go into it just in case kids are listening. But like you go, what? Do you mean it? And then you start watching, going, oh yeah, to be honest.
Yeah. That was
If
it.
you're punching that guy 10 times in the face, surely his nose would be broken by now. But I'm going to keep referring back to him. Ash is the reason I got into wrestling. Ash, like when we were 13, I moved from Basildon to Dagenham, and I knew Ash in Basildon. We grew up met each other in Basildon, became friends over Power Rangers. I moved to Dagenham, run into my friend there 4 years later. I never thought I'd see again because obviously back then, no internet, no MSN, no texting, no WhatsApp. He moved away and that was it. It was like he could have moved to Outer Mongolia, and didn't think I was ever going to see. Instead, he moved to Dagenham. I ran into him, and he was watching WCW. And I'd go to his house, and he'd put it on, and I'd see Bret Hart, and I kind of remember Bret Hart being a young guy. I see Goldberg, he's kind of cool. But it was SummerSlam 2000. Ash was like, "Oh, you got to watch this pay-per-view I recorded last night, SummerSlam 2000." He puts it on. I'm watching it. I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I think SummerSlam, the first TLC match, I was like, "Oh, that's fucking insane." Then this interview happened with this man. He walks onto the screen, and the first thing he says is, "Finally, The Rock has come back to whatever arena it was." And instantly, I was like, "I like him. He's kind of sexy, and I'm not gay." I'm not that way inclined, but he's kind of sexy, and I like what he says. What can he do in the ring? And he went out there and had a pretty fucking. I think he lost SummerSlam 2000 to Kurt Angle, but I remember going, "I'm in love," and that's where my wrestling started. Tony, what was it for you?
So yeah, The Rock was again a catalyst. So I never knew when I got interested. I just grew up watching it, like just like Thomas the Tank and just like He-Man and all the rest of it, and Adam West Batman. It was just something that was on in my house. So I just grew up watching it. And then I sort of lost interest, around that time where things were dire for WWE. The 95, 96 years, attendance down and ratings down. I kind of fell off. Kept up with it through my cousin Damon, who would record it, and then every few weeks or month or so when I see him, he'd give me some tapes, and I'd watch the odd show here and there. And then we got it wasn't even Sky, we got cable in late '98, and I in January it must have been of '99, flicking through channels, and boom, it's like, oh, Royal Rumble's on. I was like, oh sweet, yeah, no, I'll catch up on this. And literally the first thing I see is The Rock turning Mick Foley Mankind into mashed potato, like just mullering him with the chair like 20 odd times, whatever it was. And then I was just like, this is what wrestling is now. What the fuck? And then I was like, yeah, cool. So a friend at school had taped Royal Rumble. I was like, you got to give me that tape now. I want to watch the whole show. And then again, having a few years break where it was all squeaky clean and people with professions being a wrestler and fucking Doink the Clown and all this cartoon mess. I was like, hold on. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly now there's ultra violence, there was the ECW influence into WWE by then. So, like the I Quit match, ultra violent. There was boobies, there was comedy, there was reference to porn, there was reference to drugs. And I was like, wrestling is fucking cool. It's like South Park, but with Jerry Springer, with playground fighting. This is amazing. I'm into it. And then of course, The Rock being just the coolest guy in any room. He was the guy who I looked forward to seeing. So yeah, Rock was my catalyst of getting back into it. And now we are here 25 years later.
Mate, that's fucking
I'm still watching it.
Right,
yeah,
1999. Ryan was 3 years old. He's October, so he was 2 for most of 1999. Fuck you, but it was a great time. The end of the 90s was great, and then the millennium happened, and we grew up.
I had this wrestler called Super Relic who got me into wrestling.
Super Relic. It's really weird. I've got a wrestling belt up there, the Intercontinental WWE belt, and it's got Super Relic on it. Who is that?
Yeah.
Me. That was my wrestling name, was Super Relic. And you can go on YouTube, Tony. There is some old shit on there. Super Relic and Relic. There's some where it looks like it's been filmed on a potato kind of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Old school. Some really fucking British wrestling fucking videos. But so that right, obviously, I mean, this is how I know you and wrestling it was through me. And obviously, I think you're a rock fan because my Uncle Ryan loves rock, so
Yeah,
he's my guy.
so growing up watching wrestling, it was the Hardy Brothers and stuff like that for me. That was like my era of like early 2000s sort of thing when I was first started watching it. And then you go out on a trampoline, you'd be trying to do the swanton bomb and stuff like that. That's my era of watching it. And before Jeff Hardy went way downhill with all these drugs and shit.
Yeah, before he was turning up to TNA just off his tits trying to win a title. Yeah. But that again, you see, you were going out on the trampoline. By the time you were going out on the trampoline, Ash was like, "There's a wrestling school, right? We can go to. We can actually do this for real. We can get hurt for a living.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it? All right, yeah, let's do it. Okay." But obviously, you saw that side of it, right? Where I used to like at 15, I would get in the back of a van at the start of summer, and not in a creepy paedophilic way, and with a load of sweaty men. We don't make paedophile jokes, but we can make paedophile references. Like we'd get in the back of a van with a load of sweaty men and tour the country, doing all the holiday camps. So this is where, so you probably as a kid would go into like havens and seeing wrestling, and me or Ash or someone that you something linked to us was probably there where you were seeing it.
Yeah, like I say, it'd be something that could have crossed paths on at some point. Like I might have seen that super relic who looks a little bit like you. I might have seen him
More
somewhere.
hair.
Yeah, a little more hair, a little more bulk, yeah, and a little more hope in his eyes, you know.
The bulk bit's definitely wrong. I was 10 times skinnier then, and
Yeah.
I turned sideways and disappeared. That was my special move. I turned sideways and no one could see me.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about it before. Like we might have been in attendance of like some FWA shows together. Like
Yeah.
maybe fucking sitting next to each other. Who knows? And this is a part of our coming together. It was just it. The universe had tried time and time again, and finally it got us on TikTok.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like literally, right? You like FWA. When I first started wrestling, the FWA, British wrestling had been out of the scene. No one knew that there was really any wrestling scene unless you were like an underground super wrestling fan. British wrestling was really since the 80s when they took the wrestling that our mums and dads and our nans and granddads used to watch off the telly. British wrestling was all American wrestling. It was all about like, even when you'd see shows. Like I remember seeing a wrestling show at Dagenham Town show, and it was called Live American Wrestling because that's what people knew wrestling as, was the American thing, the WrestleManias. And so you used to get like, you go to these shows and it'd be like, it's Fake Kane or the Undertaker, but it's not the Undertaker. It'd be something like what's another word for it? Fucking hell, I'm losing my words again. The Undertaker. It's the Gravedigger, and it'd just be someone dressed as it's the Croc. It's old Barry Austin. Shit like that. But then the FWA was like the first mark of like trying to bring it back, and there was all these young lads like Jody Fleisch, Johnny Storm, and Alex Shane, Ulf Herman. I'd love to. I've got to try and remember, Tony, some of the shows I went to. Like, what was one of the Uprising? I used to go to the Uprising, and I would not be surprised if you knew some of the guys. There was the young guys there. Like I said to you, like Shah Samuels, Terry Fraser. There was Fozzy. I don't know if any of these names ring a bell. Like they were the
Fozzy does, yeah.
Yeah, he was obviously named after. He's got the nickname because of Jericho's band. But these kids were like the ones that were coming to drop kicks. That was the wrestling school we went to, and a lot of these guys now, like I said, we kind of never talked about wrestling on here because, I don't blame Ash. Ash has always had, Ash one doesn't like talking about himself in that sense, but I will always say I am Ash's biggest fan. If it weren't due to injury, Ash would be in AEW, TNA, or WWE. More than likely AEW or WWE. Ash was fucking phenomenal. He could, you saw him wrestle, Ryan, didn't you? A couple of times. This kid could do everything. He started off being known as the high flying Ashley Reed. And he could do every high flying move you could know. But then he decided, I've had enough of this. I'm going to be a power wrestler. And he was to ground and just take everything back to basic. And Paul Robertson, don't you, Tony?
Yeah.
Paul and Ash, if you go through their matches, I told you they had the first cage match at IPW. They had one of the Ash was part of the original and first ever TLC, but was also in another one with Paul TLC match a few years later in Kent. And like these matches, like you can go on YouTube. I actually think they might have taken some of them down because the guys that own the footage have taken them down. But it's Ash wrestling people like Kevin Owens on there, right? Even, I don't know if you've seen
I
these.
didn't know that. No.
Kevin Owens, it was when he was Kevin Steen, no beard, and he looks
Yeah.
about 12. You've got Neville, who was he was in WWE as Neville. He's in AEW. He's Pac. He was Pac on that scene. Is him wrestling them. All those guys. Sheamus was coming through shows with us. If you know your NXT Dropkicks, one of the biggest names from Dropkicks that came through went to NXT. Danny Burch, Martin Stone. He was with us. He wrestled. Martin Stone was the main star of the show I did in 2000 show for my granddad, right? The first one I ever promoted. Martin Stone was there, and then he wanted me to book him for his second one, but his fee had gone up, and he was like, "Look, I've got to charge you more because I'm going to America as WWE." I'm like, "Cool, but I can't afford WWE prices, mate.
Yeah.
You quid and shut up, or you don't do it. I get someone else." Anyway, that's me talking about my side of wrestling. Let's go back down to what we know of wrestling. Where do you want to start? Tony, you wanted to talk about the road to WrestleMania. We're well on the path to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble happened. Elimination Chambers happened. I still
Yeah.
fully watched Elimination Chamber. I've seen the highlights. I've just finished watching Raw highlights. But where are we at with this? What are we thinking about WrestleMania? Are we excited? Do we think it's going to be a good one?
I do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the best, actually. One of the best manias. It's got that major potential, and that stems from The Rock doing his little teasers about coming back and saying, "You want me as the head of the table," to the whole clusterfuck that became, the massive pivot, the massive rewrite, and the chopping and changing what was gone on behind the scenes. But that's kind of like what I love about wrestling, and not to take away from what we're going to chat about the road to WrestleMania, is to me that's what's fascinating, is having one foot in the reality side of what's going on with the the so-called politicking and the backstage and the writing and the booking, and then having the other foot in what you see on screen. I think that's what's fascinating is that backstage stuff, but the entertaining stuff is what's on screen, and both of which have been fucking on fire this year leading into WrestleMania. So hyped for that. Hyped because it's it's going to be a big mania. It's 40. It's going to be some bells and whistles added to it, maybe more so than any other WrestleMania. Having The Rock, kind of the most full time he's been in 12, 13 years. Exciting, like we spoke about. We're Rock fans from back in the day. He's the reason why we're still watching it today. So big for that. The Bloodline story, the Roman Reigns title reign, has been absolutely fucking epic. Loved every match, all three of them that he's had in the last 12 months. I'm here for it. And Cody finishing his story. I'm more interested in him this time around than I was last year. He's done really well in not that it all rested on me, but he's done really well in securing me as a fan. I never thought I would be a Cody mark or a Cody fan. I am now.
Cody,
I'm a Cody crybaby. Look, Woody, you only live down the fucking road, mate.
Wrestle! It's Man United versus Stone Cold. Let's do this.
Yeah, man. No, I'm hyped for it, and all the other matches are literally just going to be sprinkles on my big lovely WrestleMania cake, and yeah, I'm hyped for it. Yeah. Other than that, mate, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
Do you think there's going to be something on night one between the Seth Rollins and Cody and the Bloodline? Because there seems to be something building there.
Well, have you seen obviously what happened in Raw? Cody's called The Rock out for a one-on-one match, hasn't he? And The Rock's going to SmackDown to respond. I'm like, well, the next pay-per-view, if I'm not wrong, it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen on Raw or SmackDown, or is that going to lead into the tag team match on night one, and then night two we get the title matches? But then, okay, I'm cool with the Seth Rollins and Cody tagging, but then it's now Seth versus Drew. Is that going to take away from Drew a little bit?
Yeah.
Or
Drew, Drew called it out on Raw, didn't he? Saying he didn't want Seth getting involved in that stuff with the bloodline because he wants Seth to be fully fit for his match at night 2.
But who could be his tag team partner if it ain't Seth? Because that's the one we're all expecting. Who could it be? Maybe Jey Uso, but I don't know. I mean, all right, you've got Jey, you've got Jey Uso, you've got who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Sami Zayn. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. But I love Sami Zayn. I think he's brilliant. But is he? Is he the fourth man for that match?
No.
I don't. He's brilliant and he's comedic and he's fucking a great wrestler. But we've got Cody Rhodes who's up here now.
Yeah.
Cody that come from here is up here. We've got The Rock who's fucking always been up there. Could change his fucking character as and when, and make us all love him no matter what. We've got Roman Reigns who is the fucking tribal chief. Would Sami Zayn fit in there? Who else could it be? Jey Uso, yeah, but
I think we'll get Jimmy versus Jay. So one of the
yeah,
days.
yeah.
And this is another thing that's really, really cool about this one is this for me. This is the only time that we can have a 2-night Mania where I could see multiple people on the first and second night, and not only it makes sense and it actually fits, but I'd actually want it, and I wouldn't mind paying my £10 a month to watch WrestleMania and say, yeah, that's my money's worth. I know a lot of people, of course they are, because they're wrestling fans, are going to bitch like, oh no, they're not making room for new stars. And then, if they put a bunch of undercarders on, they're like, oh no, you wasted the main events. Like, shut up. Like, those are the crybabies. But yeah, I'm so intrigued about how this interweaves, and this is almost like, Woody, you might not know the name, Vince Russo. This is kind of like his kind of work where he's got everyone involved. Everyone's got a part. Everyone's a part of the moving gears. And yeah, man, I'm just really, really hyped to see how that pans out. Whether it's going to be a tag match, multi-man match, whether we're going to have a bunch of singles on the first night and then the big ending on the second night. People's speculations, right, that The Rock's going to be a turncoat on Roman Reigns. He's just a mole for Cody. Cody's setting up his little Avengers team, and then there's Rollins going to be the one who turns on Cody because he's got longer history with Reigns. And yeah, man, yeah, I'm here for it.
It's exciting because I mean, look at the way The Rock come in. Obviously, I was fucking stuck with this because Rock is my reason for wrestling. That's how I look at it. He's the reason I love it. And I mean, yes, I love other people, but I always get back into more wrestling when he's there, more than ever. And CM Punk and Punk, but we'll go down that route in a second because that still upsets me of what's happening with him at the moment, not being. But Rock being there when he come out, I was hyped for it, but part of me was like, my gut was like, oh man, Cody, like what? It's kind of like it reminded me of once in a lifetime, never again. You're going to see Rock versus John Cena, but next year we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Like we've done this, build the story, finish the story. I'm going to do it, but it's not WrestleMania. Here, have The Rock. It was kind of like, but the way they switched it by that press conference shows that not only do they fucking listen more than they ever have to what we want, but they can adapt and do it so fucking well. I mean, Rock going heel, and I'm among those. I think you text me about it, right? And why do I love The Rock as a heel more than face?
Yeah.
Because the heel, the Rock as a face is fucking phenomenal, but The Rock as a heel, no fucking barriers. And that guy, this is why people love him. Look when he became the Rock, Hollywood Rock. The people were booing him because he left and stuff like that. A month into it, they were fucking going mad for him.
Yeah.
They were hearing this personality because how can we hate this guy? He's fucking entertaining.
Bringing back his Versace vest and his sunglasses. Oh,
yeah. Oh, mate. Nostalgic Rock. And the way he switched it, the way he come out of that press conference and it was like, what's he going to do? What's we going to do? And he switched it. The way he slapped Cody, everything was like, this is fucking wrestling. We're now invested in this more than ever because now we don't know what's happened. What was the point of that bit last week? Well, we know maybe we might have to forget what happened last week, but because they've now listened and they've changed their minds, but it's still happened. There's still more to it. And like we say, Rock could turn on Rollins, which we've all seen the little hints when he says you're going to lose, or whether he turns to Roman and he's pointing at him.
and he's
And
holding up. Yeah,
that was probably nothing. I don't think that was anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just left his thumb out. Yeah,
yeah, that's probably nothing. But people are reading into it. That's what I'm saying. People are so fucking invested in this storyline.
But
And
they're right to, because of what Papa H is doing. You know, he's not he's planting little seeds. You know, like how everyone was like, "Oh, Michael Cole said this on commentary as a throwaway comment. That means CM Punk's coming back," and people started like reading into every single line and every single little nuance, and that's because that's what Triple H is doing. So like Rock doing the L sign or pointing somewhat in Reigns' direction could be completely accidental, but with Triple H's track history so far, it's like that could be bang on.
we
And
don't
could it
know.
be the double bluff of going, oh look, people are hooking to these little nuances. If I just do that, people are going to be like, what's going on? They're going to be hooked. They're going to be invested. They're going to question. They're going to chat. Like it's just a couple of geniuses running the show now.
yeah.
Oh man, and obviously that's the fucking cool thing. It's mad to think. Like one, you've got Shawn Michaels running NXT. You've got Triple H running WWE, so you've got DX, like the people that were like nearly banned from WWE are now in control of it technically, and the Rock's on the
Yeah,
board of TKO. So like, I mean, I love Shawn Michaels, but I probably like you, Tony, 99 when I got into it, he was out. So
yeah,
and when he came back in 2000, I watched it, but I was more involved in doing wrestling, and when Rock left, WWE kind of I watched it when I could. I just watched it for the big ones, and I cared
yeah,
about it, but not enough. But Triple H and Rock, when I came into it, that was they were the fucking guys. Rock was my guy. Triple H was the bad guy that you hated so much, but you're like, oh man, he's fucking. You want to fuck him up, but he's really going to fuck Rock up, and then Rock's going to come back even stronger. But seeing them guys in control of it, and you know. We may have to approach the Vince McMahon allegations and stuff in a sec, but having Vince step away really shows like how much it's been held back. And I hate to say, because Vince, I know he's done wrong now, but Vince gave us most of this stuff that we love. But at the same time, he's got old. He got old, and things haven't been right for a long time. If anything, from the
yeah.
Attitude Era.
I mean, the guy's clearly got a catalogue of issues from, and whether that stems from him and his own success, whether it's just
On
aging,
someone,
and when someone's not disciplined, they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually they're caught, or they've been reprimanded. And I think that's what's happened here. He had his god complex. He could get away with anything until he couldn't. And that goes for his personal and all the allegations to him, but also with his writing, and his booking and his running of the company. It felt like it became, for an audience of one, it was what he found funny, it's what he found entertaining, it's what gave him kicks. And he was like, like you listen to any podcast with like any wrestler or anyone who's worked there, and it's good shit, pal. That's it's because he believed it. He didn't think of the billions of people watching it around the world.
exactly. And obviously, one thing about Vince is like storylines would get reused, and not even in like a creative new way. They would the same storylines. You see that,
Yeah,
because I like even the Rock versus CM Punk, the end of that match where the Shield come in, the Rock's laying on the floor, it's like, no, you're not taking the title for him. I am. That was, and we're not allowed to say his name anymore. Was the ending? I think it was Fully Loaded, 2000 or 1999. It was Rock, Benoit, and someone else, and it was a false. That finish happened basically, like where it was a cheated, and then
yeah,
someone comes out and goes, "I order this." I think it was Mick Foley. I order this match to continue.
yeah.
Be the same storyline but reused. But it was like if it hadn't had the Rock in, it might have felt fresh. But it was like Rock was there before; he was there for that, and I know that because I watched that pay-per-view. That it was a triple threat, and I was doing a match company called CWC as a triple threat. So I used that because someone said it's a really good match. We use that finish. So I've always loved that finish
Right.
because I know that I've done that finish myself. I order this match to continue. It's I fucking Vince is being out of the way. I think everything feels so fresh, and it's
Yeah.
not crazy. And what's the word I'm looking for here is like as jumbled as AEW. As AEW I'm not gonna lie. I watched it mainly when my guy was there, Punk, and he wasn't there for that long with injuries and stuff like that. And then it come away. I was happy when Edge went there, but I can't follow it as much anymore.
I feel like it's going through its like adolescence, it's teenagers. It doesn't know what it is. It's trying to find its footing again. You know, they're up in production to be glossier and shinier, which is what they set out not to be. They wanted to be a clear difference. That when you turn it on, you know, your mum's not going to go, "Oh, you're watching that WWE stuff again." You know, they wanted to make sure that if people tune in, like, that's not WWE, but what is this? They seem to be stepping more into that territory of it being all glossy, shiny, HD, you know. And then story wise, you know, when it first started, it wasn't like story for everyone. There was the rankings, wasn't there? It was like, are you a good enough wrestler to be the best wrestler here? And now, you know, there's a lot of stories which are maybe it's just what wrestling is. You can't escape that. You can't present it as like as a league or have rankings really. And maybe they've found that out. And you know, it's more than what we enjoy saying. Oh no, we liked it when it was a bit more raw, which is ironic. We liked it when we had the rankings and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're not advertisers and we're not television stations with millions and billions of pounds saying we want your show to look and feel like this. You know, where someone on Twitter saying, I don't like it with too many storylines, you know, who gives a shit? We're not lining their pockets, really. Like, fans don't line wrestling companies' pockets anymore. It is TV deals and that's advertising. Like, I've read a really cool article about WWE. They don't care if they sell out arenas anymore. They don't care if they sell out WrestleMania or that AEW's put on a bigger show at Wembley than any WrestleMania because AEW paid Wembley to have that honor of going there and setting up and all the rest of it. They had to pay Wembley. Whereas when WWE went to Cardiff and people were like, oh, why aren't you going to Wembley? It was because, well, Cardiff are paying WWE to come to their city and bring in the tourism and bring in the revenue and bring in the noise. It's different now. You know, we're not the deciding factor. Us buying the t-shirts and the tickets don't really matter that much anymore.
It's like Spudman has brought the revenue into Tamworth.
Yeah.
Or Binley Mega Chippy brought all them people to Binley. I've never even heard of Binley.
No.
I thought it was just a geezer called Lee, whose first name people like calling him Binley. Binley Mega Chippy. Binley. No, exactly. And I don't know about you with AEW. Every time I've watched it, it seems to be, and it feels like the old WCW, like what happened towards the end.
Yeah.
A lot about Tony Khan. Tony Khan's big announcement. Tony Khan. You're like he's not like, I don't know about you, but when Tony Khan's talking, he does it. I've noticed his eyes are like wide. So either he's really nervous or he's done a lot of cocaine before he goes out on that stage.
This boy's on packet for sure.
Yeah, packet for days. He's on that free for all kind of shit, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't. That took like, at least with Vince, like he was over exaggerating with everything, but like you lapped up everything with Tony. He goes, we're gonna do a bigger. We've got a bigger. Like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. That's fucking amazing. Well done, Tony Khan. I'm not I'm gonna go watch WWE because most of my favorite wrestlers are back now, to be honest. So fuck you.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, okay, we're talking wrestling. We've spoke about our thoughts on Rock and Cody. I know, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna end up maybe being the longest episode we've ever done at Talks With Dorks, but as long as you guys are happy to continue talking.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good for a bit, yeah.
I want to go to bed, mate. I've got kids and everything. I'm away from the kids. I'm at my mum's tonight. Rise, kid's not here yet, so he's all right at the moment. Right, matches. So the matches that I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is my problem with WWE. I don't watch it enough to know a lot of the new guys. I've seen some of them. I know Grayson Waller is. I know Austin Theory, stuff like that. Some of them, I watch clips and I go, I don't know who that is. But the matches, some of the matches I know. First off, let's talk the women's belts. We've got. This is where I'm going to struggle. Bailey versus someone. Give me a name.
Io Sky, isn't it?
Yes, that's it.
Io Sky, that's it. I couldn't remember. I knew it was a tag team partner. Again, not been following that story, but I've seen enough of it to know that was what everyone was hoping for, that they'd turn on Bailey and Bailey would go for that. So
Yeah,
What are your thoughts? Are you happy with that match? Are you expecting Bailey to go over?
100% Bailey. Yeah,
I think they got to keep it.
I think it's her first singles WrestleMania match, and it's for it's for a championship. So, and the story's been really good, and she's been heel for probably for a lot longer than we think. She's had a probably. In fact, I'm going to say definitely, she's been heel longer on the main roster than she was a face. So
But she's so squeaky clean. I never thought we'd see her as a heel, but she's fucking good.
no, yeah, and not only more believable, but just more entertaining as the Hill character. And what's cool about what she's done now is that she can still be the same character, but she's earned the cheers and she's earned the admiration again. So yeah, I completely see her going over, and it makes. I hate saying this when we're talking like armchair booking, but it makes sense. She brought up a load of girls with her to form the control damage control stable. She's elevated them, and now that's sort of the job done as the veteran now, isn't it? She's elevated some, and I think it's just right that she walks away with the gold, maybe only for a short time, and they numbers game, and she loses it back to them on the next show or what have you. But yeah, I think it's going to be her night.
Right? Anything you got to add to that?
No, that's one storyline that I've not followed as much. Like I'm like
Yeah.
you, the highlights person. I can't catch Raw. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I watched the highlights.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm not playing for Sky Sports, so I'll wait till Netflix.
Yeah. Otherwise, just watching Simon Miller will do, right?
Yeah. Oh, I watch Conman and Santi Zap.
Santi Zap. That's what I watch.
Santi, yeah.
Santi Zap, yeah.
And Tesh, because I started with them too when they're what's it called? They've got the duo. They've got the duo thing where they guess the wrestler thing with Tesh and Santi Zap. That's how I found.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but they were cool. And then I sort of kind of carried on watching Santi more than Tesh, but then found Conman as well.
Yeah.
I like Con reactions. So yeah, I'm not big on that storyline. The one I've kind of got invested in from this week is Rhea and Becky, because I fucking love Rhea Ripley. I mean, god damn, she's hot. Becky's hot as well, and that doesn't take away from their wrestling, but they're fucking both good wrestlers as well. Do you know what I mean? So to see
great characters,
the great characters, them two are. No offense to Bailey and Neo Sky, whatever her name is. This is the women's match I'm more invested in because they're fucking phenomenal. They're both.
Know if you watched the Elimination Chamber, but Rhea carried Nia Jax through that match.
Like, Nia Jax fucking
awful. Yeah. How she main evented Elimination Chamber, I don't know.
She's terrible.
I think it's just by virtue of Rhea Ripley having to main event it. I think that's the only reason she got. Yeah, is the only reason that she was in the main event is because Rhea Ripley had to main event that show.
Yeah. She literally carried her through it.
Am I right? Nia Jax is like known for like not being safe. Like she's injured quite a few people.
Yeah.
So as I'm saying, like instantly, what like that instantly puts me off. Her wrestling doesn't look smooth, and yet you see, they say Rhea Ripley. If it wasn't for Rhea Ripley, that match would have just been horrendous. No one would have been invested in that at all. And what are you going to do with Nia?
About this with Nia Jax is they've built that into her character now of like saying she does injure people. People get hurt when they wrestle her, and it's like them acknowledging it doesn't make it okay, and it doesn't make it a good thing either. What they're just saying is, oh well, she's not a safe worker, she's not a safe performer, which is what they are, and but yeah, we'll celebrate that now, which is it's all a bit donkey, isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't
massive.
But Becky versus Rhea is going to be a good match.
Oh man, like just the way they set it up on Raw was so fucking good.
Yeah,
and there's just you could see it. And I've not watched it enough to know if they faced each other in singles action before. I really don't know. But just I'm excited for it. I'm going into it as ahead of they haven't, and I'm really looking forward to the way what they're going to pull off.
I'm going to be a contrarian here. I'm not that into it. I'm not that into it at all, to be honest. So let's discount the fact, Ryan, that I would wash your boxes with my face just to sleep in a pile of her used bath towels for Rhea Ripley. Like, I'll do anything just to sniff her socks.
I allow you to. It's just
Um,
to give you the pleasure.
exactly. But Becky, I've been having conversations with a couple of mates about this. Is why is Becky? That is literally it. Just who is Becky? Why is Becky? Like she's the man. Okay, we're going to bring her back up again. She's the man because Nia Jax is unsafe. Right, she got her nose busted, and that made her the man. Then she got some time, and she had some character, and she said some stuff in promos and on the mic and stuff. Now she just kind of is there, not being the man or being anyone. Like, yeah, she's a good wrestler. Yeah, her matches are like quite entertaining, but I'm not invested in her at all. Like, I don't feel like I've got a reason to be.
Yeah, the thing I think though, if not her, who else do they push for the main event?
Charlotte Flair's out, isn't she? I don't think she's going to be in
Mhm.
time for Mania.
And she had a
Charlotte
run
Flair.
as well, didn't she, for a while? So
I'm not gonna lie, I love Charlotte Flair. I love Rick, but I mean, maybe not so much now. He's like, Rick needs to stop actually getting in the fucking ring now. You've retired 15 times, and you were too old to retire when you retired. So slow down, Rick. But I love Charlotte Flair. I loved how she made the Nature Boy kind of gimmick her own version of it. But I got a bit bored of her. It's like it's just constantly her. I know they're trying to get to 16 championships like her dad, but it's like, okay, slow down now. He did it over 40 years. Don't need to do it in 6. Right? Because that's not 16 championships if you're doing it in 6 years. Right? Slow the fuck down. So yeah, like you say, who else could be there? Who on the female roster? I mean, I know someone I'd love to see come back and make another stint, but I don't think WWE would ever agree to let her wrestle again. Soraya. You both went silence. Who's Soraya? Paige.
oh yes,
Paige.
Yeah.
I think she was one of my favourite parts of the women's revolution, and it's not because
is that why she went?
I think she broke her neck. It was something to do with her neck, right, Tony? And they wanted her to wrestle, but she's gone to AEW. And I don't even know if she's wrestled in AEW. I know she's part of it. Whatever.
Yes, she has. She
back wrestling,
won the championship at Wembley, didn't she?
Of course she did. Yeah, because her family there, and that's just a little name drop. I knew her before she even liked being a wrestler, because her family used to be on the tour. So let's just name drop that. And her brother has finally got an American contract. Have you seen that? Zach Zodiac has now been signed to AEW. So, have you seen the film Fighting with My Family?
No, I did want to watch that though.
Yeah, obviously that's her story, and a big part of it is they went to trials, and he was obviously the one that was always more into. He's wrestling from day one. She was kind of not into it up until she was about 14. They went for trials, and they wanted her, not him. So there was a lot of bitterness there and stuff like that. And he worked so fucking hard, but they just weren't going to bring him. But now he's finally got his AEW contract. But my worry with that is it too little, too late? You know what I mean? Like, is it AEW at that point where it's like, let's just get him in now, and it's like it's not going to be good enough for him. It's not what he wanted or expected. But anyway, I would love to see Soraya at WrestleMania back, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some fucking great footage of her on doing matches and other stuff.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
No. I got that. Don't talk about that. I still. You can't drop it in with that. That's still talked about, right? You can still find them videos even though they were taken down. Anyway, next match I can think of would be Drew versus Seth. What are your thoughts on this?
Excited.
Chef kiss.
Yeah.
Drew
It should have been Drew and Punk. Sorry, Rollins and Punk. I'm assuming, but that would have been the route, right? You think that would have been it? Yeah. And I'm fucking gutted for Punk, man. Like, first proper match back, another injury, and it's scary because, like, it's horrible to say it. I don't want it to be the end, but is it too many injuries now for someone at that age? Yeah, I hope not.
I think it could be, but the way they've spun it and they've got Drew taking the mick out of Punk is hilarious.
Oh mate, even on social media, have you seen when he what was it working triceps on the gym? Like, oh mate, and the t-shirt as well.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Drew is the best he's ever been because of this, and that is probably the one thing I'm thankful about Punk's return is in maybe by accident, but just elevating Drew, because Drew was amazing through COVID and lockdown period, but
We
for
appreciate
obvious
it.
reasons, he didn't get his flowers. And poor guy, man, to say you've come from the arse end of Scotland, you've made it to WrestleMania main event, and the only fan was the one spinning on the ceiling. Like, what a fucking shame! Like,
Yeah.
what a fucking shame!
No, but did
Like,
they
as
even
a
have the
kid, and
TV
you
screens?
Yeah.
At Mania, did they have the TV screens with
no,
everyone?
not for his first, not for his first Mania,
It was
no.
a warehouse, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Because that obviously when they brought the screens in, and there's that random guy that had Chris Benoit on his screen. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
but yeah. So there was like even the crickets had fucked off. You know, there was
yeah,
no one there. There was no noise, and I was just like, I don't know what his real name is, even if it is Drew. Like as a kid, you've got to think like Drew sitting in the arse end of Scotland. Like I want to be a wrestler. I want to main event WrestleMania, and you're up there with what, probably only like 20 odd, 30 odd people that have actually main evented WrestleMania, and there's fuck all there. Like, there's no noise, there's no fireworks, there's none of that of what you dreamed of, apart from you holding up the metal and leather. That's it.
it,
That's
it,
all you had
it
to
was
show
like
for it.
it was like winning it on WWE 2K24, isn't it? It's like, yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
no good. Like one of my worst memories of WWE lockdown was when Stone Cold returned. That was fucking
yeah,
horrendous. No crowd with Stone Cold, and that you could
hmm,
hear the echoes of him walking down. I just watched this. I was like, I can't watch this. Stone Cold needs 15,000 people screaming for him, or it just
yeah,
isn't Stone Cold. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I remember Drew when he come to like an IPW show as Drew. Hang on, I've lost it. It's Drew McIntyre in WWE, Drew Galloway then. And I remember
yeah,
before the stint of WWE. Then when he came back, I don't know if you ever watched any of the ICW, Tony. When
yeah,
he
yeah,
came back to ICW, like, and he kind of did what Cody took to the next level, but Cody
yeah,
had not to discredit anything Cody did, but Cody had the name behind him of the Rhodes name for people to watch him.
yeah,
He went off and went, well, fuck you. I'm going to go show you that you fucking messed up here. And, it's one of them. I was just another British guy that's come into WWE and they didn't know what to do with him. And it's like one of them. Sheamus had the best run, I think, of all the British guys, bar British Bulldog, but even he had never won the
yeah,
big one.
Mm.
It was
yeah,
European Championship. Sheamus didn't have it, and you had people like Matt. Do you remember Paul Burchill, right, Tony,
yeah, yeah,
from FWA? My first
yeah,
FWA, the monster. Right, this guy come out at fucking FWA, the monster Paul Burchill. His gimmick was he'd come out, he'd just fucking two move people and fuck off. And he used to do like this big fucking guy would do a Spanish fly, which is
yeah,
basically he does a backflip, the guy does a front flip. So it's kind of like it's set up like a rock bottom,
Yeah.
but it's a backflip into a fucking backflip. And this 6 foot fucking monster would do a standing one, not from the corner, a standing one, tear it up. Then he's going to WWE. We're like, fuck yeah, come on, Burchill. We know you were behind him. And they made him a pirate.
and also made very close to making him a sister fucker.
Oh, incest as well. Again,
Yeah,
Nikki from FWA. She like is like the FWA. She was like the look like the all the horny men would say, "Oh my god, it's Nikita. She's our fucking Trish Stratus. She's our leader."
yeah,
The British scene brought her out there as Katie Lee, and they were brother and sister in the storyline, and they were basically sleeping together by the looks of it. It's like, hey Vince, you know that guy that nearly done a storyline where he wanted to sleep with his daughter? He brought it in somehow, didn't he? He brought
yeah,
incest into WWE by Paul Burchill. It destroyed Paul Burchill. And where's Burchill now?
No idea.
yeah,
You probably don't, have you even heard of him, right?
No, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They brought him in, and he was brought in like as his normal, not his normal gimmick, but as a wrestler first. But then they give him a pirate gimmick, right? If you ever got time, go search Paul Burchill pirate. It's fucking. It's like the '90s, like Tony was saying earlier, when they were bringing in fucking Isaac Yankem, which is Kane as a dentist,
Yeah.
or they're bringing fucking. Are you looking now?
Yeah.
And
It's
how dare they not give him the nickname the Rated Yar Superstar? How dare they not do that?
because it was that time as well, wasn't it? The rated
Yeah,
yar. But I mean, I know last time I looked because I used to have her on Facebook, but Nikita Katie Lee, she was still living in LA. I think she was doing acting or doing something. But again, I generally do not know what's happened to him. I couldn't tell you where he is now.
he's working in Dixon's, no doubt.
Is Dixon's even a thing anymore?
Oh, I don't know. I'm an old boy. Any electronic shop's called Dixon's. All right, that's it.
Like any shop, like anything that's got confectionery in it's Woolworths, right? It's Woolworths.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Why would you have ever gone to?
Woolworths. Yeah, I know.
You
Woolworths.
know, Walsh, yeah. I can't remember what year it ended. I know you got Toys R Us, but Woolworths.
Yeah, I know Woolworths. Yeah.
But back to so like we're talking about Drew and Seth. Like you said, the way they built that storyline, like you said, off the back of Punk, it's really it's made us invested in Drew and I. Okay, who do you want to win? Who do you see winning, and who do you want to win? Because I don't fucking know, if I'm honest.
Drew and Drew.
Drew, okay, you're on Drew's side. Right.
Yeah.
I like them both. I love Seth and I like Drew. I love Drew on the mic at the minute. He's so good. And like I say, the storyline leading up to this, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to that match.
Because I mean, I think we're pretty. It'd be a really fucked up thing if Cody loses.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh no, not another one. We got to do another year waiting for this. 3 times in a lifetime. You've had as
Mate,
many.
If he loses, I'm getting another phone so I can have Twitter on 2 phones at the same time because the meltdown would be fantastic.
What a fucking! I mean, I mean, again, people expected him to win last year, but at the same time, a lot. I remember seeing the rumors that no, Roman's going to win this. Roman's going to win it. So I know it was a big speculation. Who's going to win it? I mean, he's got to fucking win Cody. But Seth and Drew, it's one of them. Like, are they? Because obviously, sure, Roman and Cody's going to be the main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So Drew and Seth are going to be before. Are they going to drop the title and drop both titles, or is Seth going to keep it? That's what my head is. I think Seth will keep it. But then
isn't Seth just been keeping it warm? Like he's banged up and he's got bad back, bad knee, and needs time off.
That's where he's gonna drop it. But then, like you say, are they gonna drop both titles in the same night?
Did you not see what happened?
He's had a really good run as well. He's been the only new world champ, and he's had it for I don't know, be closer to a year than not. So I don't know.
It's got to be at least a year, isn't it? I'm assuming. But did you not see what announcement he made on the Grayson Waller effect?
That he's ready to come back.
He's fit to wrestle.
Yeah, but
he's fit to wrestle for WrestleMania.
With Drew called out that he's got a bad back and he's got a bad knee, but he said he don't want him fighting anyone else or going against the bloodline with Cody. I think there's still something there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is good because it kind of keeps right. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman if they do that, because. Are they going to do that? And Drew comes out and injures Seth, so he goes into WrestleMania like he's guaranteed to lose because he's injured.
Yeah.
He wins out of some miracle. This again, it's so open ended. We don't know with this. This is what I love. This is what makes WrestleMania fun.
And being in a tag match, like you'll know, Ryan, that's a way of keeping someone on the card but protected. You know, don't have to do anything. And then if he's in the tag match, only to screw over Cody and then go later. It's like Rock and Roman can pick your bones now. I'm out. I've done my job. Back you in the back of a chair, like Shield style. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, then it would be heel versus heel.
Yeah, but
Seth is true.
It could be the Rock turning on Roman as well. In that tag match could just be a clusterfuck of people.
No, I'm scared of though. If they do that and you've got these 2 big matches the next night, someone's gonna get fucking injured.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, Cody's injured. There's no point giving him the title. Well, give him WrestleMania 45. He'll finish his story one day. This book he's writing, I don't know where to end it. I'm just going to continue writing it, to be honest. Obviously that's the main titles, the 2 women's titles. We've got the 2 men's titles. We're kind of all pretty sure Cody's going to win that, so we don't need to go into that. Jimmy versus Jay we're certain for, but have they started building this yet? I don't think I've seen anything other than
he cost him the match for the Intercontinental title the other day, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh right. Again, I didn't fully watch the highlights massively. So
Jay almost won, and the Bloodline got involved and cost him the match basically.
And then on Raw on Monday, Gunther, I'm paraphrasing, but said something like Jay should be champion right now. Like that was on Jimmy that I've still got this. Like he opened up and said that. So definite beef there.
Yeah. I think that's
and
where it started.
Yeah, and it's building up Jay as a title holder, singles title holder, so it makes him look stronger, doesn't it? So it's a kind of, it's double-ended. That Gunther's a mate, like he knows he's had that championship for a long time. He knows he's kept it, so, but he's admitting I shouldn't be fucking champion now. That this is I should have lost it then. So that's good. It builds it up. Predictions on that, Jay for the win.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've got to continue pushing.
You?
Yeah.
The other one,
If he doesn't win, it's just going to be a draw because Rikishi's going to be the special guest referee, and then what they're going to do is they're just going to like stand, look at each other, put some sunglasses on, and boogie on down.
Right, I think I know what match you're going to talk about. Let me just do it like this. With everybody saying L.A. Knight. Is that where you were going?
Yeah.
I was going to go with the other title, but we can go with that one first.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought that's where you're going because I'm not going to lie. I call him LA Knight, but it's more LA Rock Austin. I fucking love this guy. He's everything. Like he's what I wanted to be as a wrestler. I wanted at one point to call myself the copycat just so I could do all the Rock's moves and throw in like a stunner. I just do other. I wanted to be called the copycat. So my basis of my character was just stealing everyone else's shit, so just because they were cool wrestling moves. But he's done that. He's taken that character and gone, yeah, and done it. And oh, mate, I love it. Like, what's there's a song. I can't think of what it is. Whenever I DJ, there's a song that goes, yeah, and I just go, yeah, on the microphone, and you get the one Oz wrestling fan going, what are you doing, little Mark? But LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I mean, I'm gutted that Knight's not going for any title. What is there beef with him going for titles? I know he's slightly older, but the guy's got such a fucking following behind him. But at the same time, the last few months, I feel like it's died down a little bit because they're not pushing him now.
I thought they were going to go him versus Logan for the US title. That's where I thought they were going until the AJ Styles stuff started. And like Styles got involved in Elimination Chamber, didn't he? And eliminated.
He literally flew all the way to Australia for a run-in.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have gone to Austria like R-Truth, but
he's hilarious. He's so
funny. Oh mate, there's something about that guy up there.
Hall of Fame him straight away.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. The LA Knight AJ Styles. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's going to be basically. It's obviously the technical side of it. AJ, LA Knight with the nostalgic fucking moves and his character. It's going to be a good story. You were going for the other title, right? You said
the US Championship. Logan Paul. What are your thoughts on him as coming in as being a social media star?
I'm for it. I've never been a fan of the Logan. I fucking hate his brother more than anything. I think that's the younger generation, even younger than you, Ryan, that Logan Paul and the Jake Pauls. Yeah. But the fact that he's come in and he's actually learned to wrestle and wrestles fucking well and could do spots that. The only other person I think was similar to that was Stephen Amell, the guy that played Green Arrow. When he came in, did the spot at WrestleMania, but then also went to AEW. He could fucking wrestle.
Yeah.
He could do it. But Logan comes in and does moves. You're like, fucking hell, there's veterans that can't do that shit. I'm for that. And he brings eyes to wrestling, which is
they're slowly pushing him a little bit more full time as well. He seems to be at a lot more events. He carries that title wherever he goes, whatever he's doing.
Selling it.
He's on YouTube. He's always got that title with him.
And what does that make people do?
Yeah,
people that don't watch wrestling, they're looking at WrestleMania. Like when they brought KSI out last year, that was so obvious that he was in that prime bottle. Yeah. What a fucking great reaction! I knew that was KSI.
Where do you think they're going to go with Logan? Like, who do you think? Is it going to be Kevin Owens? You think? I think so. Carry that on.
Yeah, but will Logan Paul lose? I think Kevin Owens should win it because it's KO Mania 4 or 5 now. 5.
Yeah, I think it is.
But then he did win last year with the tag titles with Sammy, so he could lose this and keep it. But I mean, unless it's not been officially stated, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Kevin Owens.
It's building like that. That's been going on for a while, but I didn't know if they're going to continue that on or just kill. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Logan because, like I say, he gets so many eyes on that belt. It's unreal. Are they going to just let him keep it and just let him carry it around wherever he goes, whatever he's doing?
It wouldn't be a bad decision if it's working. Like you say, it's everywhere he goes. Everything he's doing, I'm sure if his brother started boxing, he'd turn up with that belt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So you've got eyes on WWE. it could literally turn up in UFC. I mean, fucking hell, what was that fucking Conor McGregor thing the other week?
Yeah, but that's the new TKO
WWE.
thing, isn't it?
What the fuck? I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's gonna do something wrestling, and he was like, Conor McGregor, I want you in UFC. Sorry.
Yeah. But you've got WWE superstars all over. If you follow UFC on Twitter or anything, their crossover is mad now. Like they're definitely getting their money's worth. This
Yeah,
crossover.
yeah, it's great, but like I was like so like, oh well, that's happening already.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna. I hope it does. The only worry I have is that it becomes too MMA WWE. I want WWE, and I want to watch my UFC.
Yeah.
I want fucking half a show promoting UFC over here because I'm not. No, I'll go and watch that when it's on. I want to watch fucking WrestleMania, not fucking Conor McGregor turn
Yeah,
up.
I think the last thing UFC fans want and WWE fans want, if they've got no interest in each other, is some fucking super show. Like we don't need an octagon inside the ring. You know, we don't need any of that.
I mean, we've already had a six-sided ring in TNA, and that was horrendous. I mean, as a semi-former professional wrestler, I used to look at that ring and it gave me anxiety. It's like we learned to run the ropes a certain way, like running across the rope and seeing a turnbuckle. No, thank you. No. But I've kind of lost where we're going. But yeah, okay. Other matches. I think I've exhausted any matches I know of for WrestleManias. Any of you got
I
any
think
more?
that's it for now. I think that's
know of so far. Yeah.
What date's WrestleMania?
Don't know.
the 6th and 7th of April.
Yeah, okay. Day before Granddad's birthday, then, right? We'll know that.
Yeah, we'll remember that one.
Yeah. Okay. Last topic to talk about, and Tony, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love this. This is proper Talks with Dorks.
Yeah.
We've done rankings before on this thing, ranking up favorite superheroes, but you brought something a little bit more fun to it, something that's not to do with superheroes or wrestling or anything like that. Your top cereal ranking.
Yeah.
I like this. When I see this come in the chat earlier, I like it.
Where did this come from? Why this?
Because cereal to me is the most important food group in all the food. It's the only thing that you can eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and at midnight. And it's got nostalgic feels, isn't it? You know, what better feeling than waking up on a Saturday morning, getting down to watch Live and Kicking. Sorry, Woody, that's a old show for us old timers. With a bowl of Cocoa Pops, you know, like it's got those nostalgic ties. It's versatile. It bangs. It takes next to no preparation. So yeah, that is why it's the most important food to me.
I think what we'll do from this segment is I'll make a tier list and we'll put it out on our social medias of Talks with Dorks official, like top 10.
Yeah, man.
Cereals.
Yeah, top 10. I was thinking top 3. I don't know if I can go through top 10 cereals. Have you got a list, Tony?
No, I'll just know what my tops are.
But how many in your top? Have you got top 5?
Do you know 5 cereals?
Yeah, I can do top 5 easy. Yeah.
Oh right, I might have to get someone else because I know my top. Well, I'm struggling with 3, I think, but okay.
Go on, Tony. What would you kick off with 5?
So the number 1 spot, the other 4 probably can chop and change it in order depending on my mood. But number 1 is the staple. I've already mentioned it. Is Cocoa Pops.
I said that. I thought it was going to be your favourite.
Yeah, man. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Now I don't drink the milk afterwards, but you know if you're that way inclined, banging, you've got a little treat for after your cereal.
Sorry, Cocoa Pops is your number 1 favourite fucking thing, and you don't love the milkshake at the end.
So it is a weird thing. I hate milk, right? I hate it. Right? So like, and people are like, but your favorite food cereal? Yeah, like get over it, right? If you need to know, this is my process. Yeah, I've got the pour down to a fine art. I know exactly how much milk I need in just to make the cereal wet, but not to like overflow it. And it's a bit of a chore, but I'll pick a spoonful of cereal up, and it comes off the top, and there's hardly any milk in it. It's literally there as cereal lube. Like, I'm not drinking it. It's not that involved. Some people are like, oh, you might as well just use water. No, don't be a fucking pervert. But yeah, Cocoa Pops number 1.
Okay.
My number 1 would be chocolate shreddies. It's chocolate still, but shredded. I just love shreddies. So that's
I
my.
do love some shreddies, to be fair. Okay, my number one is going to be Weetabix.
Oh yeah.
Weetabix.
How quintessentially British.
How could it? But do you know what it is? It's what I love about Weetabix. One, because you can have them hot or cold, and that it goes to Ryan's granddad, my dad. I
Yeah.
used to make. He was a lorry driver, so I used to like if I was going out on the lorry with him, he'd wake me up at like 4 a.m. So it'd be freezing cold, and he'd come downstairs and he'd warm up my Weetabix in there with loads of sugar on
Yeah.
it.
I've always wondered, right? Is that just an us thing, or Tony? Do you do that? Like, do you warm up your Weetabix?
You don't like
No,
milk.
I don't warm up any cereal because the milk becomes too milky. You can smell it, and it like accelerates the taste. But like my sister, she would only eat hot cereal. It didn't matter if it's Weetabix or if it's Cheerios or Cocoa Pops
do.
or Shreddies. Always hot milk, and some people were that way inclined when they eat their cereal. Yeah, all to them.
I like to warm it up in the microwave, just like 30 seconds in, bang, sorted.
So hot movies, and I mean my second. We'll get to seconds in a sec. I knew my first top two, but I was like Weetabix or this one, Weetabix, and I was like Weetabix because because it's the hot or cold, it's the mushiness and the sugar on it. Like you have to soak it in sugar. Like no wonder I've got bad teeth. Like I've got 4 teeth missing, but you mash it up, and it's funny because I was just watching Buffy and Angel, and Spike in it, who's obviously he's American, but he plays a British vampire. He says he likes to add Weetabix to his blood because gives it a bit of texture. We love about Weetabix, it goes mushy and it soaks up all that milk. It just becomes a bowl of Weetabix mess, which is probably
So
something you
what?
own it.
So is your favourite topping on Weetabix just like a half a jar of sugar?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like in a bowl.
Yeah, I used to be the same. So like, I don't know what your perfect amount is either, but when I was living at my mum's as a kid, we got these like promotional Weetabix bowls that was square and flat at the bottom, so you could like stack them evenly.
Perfect.
So yeah, my thing then was, and it was a fucking process: 2 Weetabix, bit of sugar, some raisins, 2 Weetabix, but then in the opposite direction because that's made the integrity of the balance right. Yeah. And then a little more sugar on top of those and a few more raisins. And then the final one was again, adjacent to the second row, loads of sugar, and then just very slowly pour the milk around so that you get an even soakage. It was a process. It took me like 10 minutes to make a bowl of Weetabix and like 3.5 seconds to demolish it. But now as an adult, Weetabix is just Weetabix. That's all I have in there now. No sugar, no fruit, no jam, no nothing. Just
No milk.
Weetabix. No, I'm not a fucking weirdo, man.
That would just be like eating a spoonful of cinnamon, wouldn't it? Just dry Weetabix.
Yeah.
My missus can eat 2 whole Weetabix dry.
Wow.
I know there's a register with her name on it somewhere because that's not normal behaviour.
That's the sort of thing that makes Jesus nervous. It's really like, we try Weetabix, like, okay, say 7 Hail Marys and fuck off. Is that
He's just
right?
texting his dad like, mate, I don't know what to do with this one.
We thought
wasn't in the rule
was
book.
bad. This Tony's missus. She eats my Weetabix. Get her away. Send her into a further place than hell. Fucking hell. Right, okay, number 2s, boys. And that's not shit. What's your number 2?
No.
Tony started this, so come on, Mr. Cereal Expert. What's your number 2?
You might not have even heard of it, and by the sound of it, you'll probably like wince it. But is raisin wheats, which is just little shredded wheats with bits of raisins inside. Yeah, grown up, it's not a childish cereal; it's an adult one. But the only reason it's not number 1 is because Cocoa Pops has got that nostalgia to it.
See, like the adult cereals, like Special K, and like the one you said about there. I love cereals because it is my kid thing. I love being a kid. Like, take cereal like a kid. Like you say, I'd happily still get up on a Saturday morning and throw on some real Ghostbusters on a Saturday morning, eating a bowl of Weetabix, just because that's part of it. Eat Special K for like, no, I remember watching these adverts as a kid. Like, I'm not eating that shit. That's for fucking grown-ups. And fruit with cereals, I couldn't do. I couldn't do fruit and cereals.
Yeah. Raisin wheats number 2. I'll stick by it.
Number 2 for me is Cheerios.
Nice. You love some Cheerios.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the adverts for them as well. Again, you were putting this is where we keep going to right too young. The adverts, Tony, where they had the different colours of cereals and they tell you what they were. For
Yeah,
Cheerios.
yeah.
Do you remember them? And obviously, my number 2, Tony's number 1, Cocoa Pops. I said it was a fine line between Weetabix and Cocoa Pops, but Cocoa Pops for the I've got to get them soaked. I've got to get all of the Cocoa Pops out to leave just the bowl of
So-
milk chocolate shake at the end.
If you like
Yeah,
Cocoa
yeah.
Pops, do you like Rice Krispies, both of you? It's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing, just
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all
Oh.
right. They're all right.
You're not a Snap Cracker and Pop fan. Come on, do you remember that? Do you remember the bowls, Tony? The 90s bowls that we got?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
still got one at my nan's house. I'm sure she's still got one of them.
Yeah. The night that had the little characters at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Like you had
Yeah.
Cocoa Pops, you had Rice Krispies. Everyone wanted them.
When
Them
cereal
and
was fun and it come with toys.
yeah. And McDonald's used to come with proper toys as
Yeah.
well, not cardboard shit. Fucking what the fuck?
Yeah, fuck the turtles. Bring out some plastic toys again. And while we're talking about it, Kinder Egg, sort it out. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I Kinder eggs like you talk about turtles, the little green turtle things. You remember them?
Tiny
They-
Terrapins, yeah.
Yeah, tiny terrapins. They were fucking cool. Now you get toys that you try and put together, and literally you push it together, and it goes ping back at you. All right.
Yeah.
My kid loves Kinder. I'm like, just get in the chocolate bar. Fuck the egg. It's bullshit nowadays. But yeah, so number 2s we've got Tony's adult one. Ryan's gone with the Cheerios. I've gone with Cocoa Pops. Okay, see, I see where we're going with this, boys. I can see where we're going with this. Number 3 is going to be interesting. Where are we going? Tony, you start again.
So it's not an English one. It's quite expensive to well, if you do find it over here, it's fucking hen's teeth. But yeah, it's a banger. It's Captain Crunch berries. So not just a regular Captain Crunch. There's a berry version that's got like different flavors and different colors in it. That's number 3.
I thought you were gonna go Lucky Charms then when you were saying it weren't from here. That's what I thought.
Yeah, got you with a curveball, didn't I? Yeah.
I started thinking Lucky Charms. I was like, we might be able to not to spoil anything, might be able to have a similar number 3, but he went there. I still want to taste Fruity Pebbles purely because of the rock. So just I still haven't tried them. But I've never tried Captain Crunch. I love all things American, so I've always wanted to try it. But yeah, you see the prices, you go, oh, that's cheap Cocoa
Yeah.
Pops. To be honest, like the same. Right, number 3.
It's gonna be another classic. It's gonna be Kellogg's Frosties.
Frosty. Oh yeah, I like some Frosties.
They're great.
Mine is Lucky Charms. They're great.
It's either Frosties or cornflakes. They're like obviously I like the sugar on it, so it's Frosties.
Yeah, because you make cornflakes, you just put loads of sugar on it anyway, so it's Frosties. Basically, Tony's like fuck sugar, I like fruit. So you can tell people, do you? Tony's grown up like I'm going to take care of my teeth and my liver. Me and Ryan like fuck our teeth. Let's eat it and have all the sugar. Mine's Lucky Charms. It's because it's about as close to I have as on fruit because it tastes. You got your cereal and you got your candy fruity stuff over there, and I love getting rid of all the cereal just to leave the charms.
Yeah.
Love
Do you
it.
remember Lucky Charms used to be out over here as like a normal cereal in the 90s, right?
Now it's become a fucking novelty.
Yeah. So that was the cereal that my nan and granddad bought me for when I stayed there on the weekends, right? So yeah, like one of the other perks, of course, other than being with your nan and granddad watching Gladiators on a Saturday night, going and having Lucky Charms was a banger. But then my Uncle Darren moved in there when he was probably in between girlfriends or divorces or coming off some sort of like ridiculous drug issue he had. Much love to Darren, by the way. So he lived there. Oh no, he's fantastic now. He's doing really well, probably better than he deserves. But so when he was living there, my Lucky Charms used to get raided, but not full bowls. He'd just pick out the marshmallow bits. So then I'd go around there and I'd just tip them out. It's just fucking grains. Like I've got no Lucky in my Charms.
Yeah, you've got nothing. I've just got some cereal. They look like they're like a. What's it? The other ones? They're like Cheerios, really, on their own. Just the plain Cheerios. Just plain Cheerios. Okay, so we also now know about your uncle that had some issues. You want to ask Ryan about his uncle that he's not allowed to talk about. You fucking say a word. About that. Fun with Uncle Ryan. Fun with Uncle Ryan. Right. Okay. This is where I was going. I started thinking about. The more we spoke about it, it's given me some ideas. Number 4, boys. Number 4. What have you got, Tony?
This one is a British classic. It's a grown up one, but definitely enjoyed it as a kid. Crunchy Nut Cornflakes.
Yeah, you got lots of crunchy nut cornflakes. They were
Fucking
great.
Moorish, man. Have one bowl of that. I dare you to have one bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have 2. I'll have 2 filled with milk
It's
as
the way
well.
you got to do it. That's the way you got to do it.
Crunchy nut cornflakes. Yeah, there's some bangers. Okay, right.
I'm
Number
gonna
4.
go. Number 4 is Crave. You know the little pillars with chocolate inside.
You fucking kid of the modern age.
Yeah. That's my number 4.
They're fucking expensive, man.
Yeah,
They're like
but
American
Aldi.
cereal prices.
Wow, it gets craven.
Yeah.
I'll get
No,
right.
no, I'm here for the Audi version, but it's too crunchy, and like if you chomp down on that too quick, you're gonna cause some damage.
That's because you don't put milk in it.
It's soggy enough. Number 4. So I mean, because Ryan said shreddies, and I was like, man, I love some shreddies. And then thinking of crunchy nut cornflakes, I was like, cornflakes, I like my frosties, but I think I'm gonna have to go down with frosted shreddies. I haven't had them in so long, but I remember going for a phase, and they were my go-to cereal. Like that, they were the ones I was getting every week. Was my frosties,
Mhm.
shreddies. So that's my number 4. Another British classic. Okay, number final, the last one. Tony.
New Kid on the Block is the Kit Kat cereal.
Not tried it.
Oh, good.
It will change your life. It'll change your life. In
Have you
fact,
tasted Kit
I
Kat?
haven't got any. I'm not about to eat any. But while we're on the subject of cereal, I just want to show you a quick something. 2
Ooh,
seconds.
we're getting a show and
I
tell.
really hope it. Right, listen, I told you no penises on this fucking podcast. Right, not till we stop recording. So, okay, the new kid on the block. We'll get ready to come back, but I'm loving this, right? Cereal talk never goes wrong.
No, this is cool.
Hey,
What's you got? What's the show and tell?
So, like cereal bowl, yeah, that's like what most people eat out of for cereal.
for anyone that's just listening to this podcast, this is the part where you need to go to YouTube and watch this, right?
That's the cereal bowl I use.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it. So rather than not having to fill that up 2-3 times, you just bang it all in one time.
You should just
You
get
better
one of
put
them
protein on
B&Q
that damn
buckets.
shit.
You know them orange buckets from B&Q? You should just get one of them.
It gets a little bit better.
I can see Powerpuff Girls. And then watch this, right? I'm going to do something because I can see it on your picture behind you, right? Right. This is one of them moments where I'm going to love doing it for the new thing, right? If I went Earth, Tony,
Fire.
Ryan, don't have a fucking clue. Captain Planet, Ryan. Captain Planet. Captain Planet. The superhero that was all like, we didn't know what like global warming was. We didn't have all that shit, but we had a superhero that was here to save the fucking planet, Captain Planet, and he was made up of the elements: earth, wind, water, fire, and fire. With them.
Speaking of the elements, I can't catch it
Yes.
right.
There we go. Yeah.
Have you got all 5 on there?
I'm the 5th.
You're the 5th element. Great fucking movie. Great fucking movie. I've not seen that in so long. But number 5's then, Rye. What's your number 5 cereal?
Cookie Crisp is my number 5.
Cookie Crisp. Okay, yeah, not bad.
Good
It's
mention,
like
sir.
it's a bit of a cookies and milk situation in it in a bowl. So
Yeah.
Tony must fucking hate it. Yeah, a bowl of. Let's be honest, you can literally eat them without the milk anyway. It's just like having cookies.
That's the trick of a good cereal, is being able to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5. Right. So what I've got to try and remember mine now. So I've gone with Weetabix, Cocoa Pops. Can't remember what number 3 was. Number 3 was Lucky Charms. Number 4 was Frosted Shreddies. I'm going to go down there. Go back to one Ryan mentioned. They're great. Frosties. I haven't said. I've been ironing about Rice Krispies and Frosties because I do love them. But like I said, like they become. Cornflakes and Rice Krispies. They become the like, others because I had all the sugar. No, maybe not Cocoa Pops. What was the Tony? What was the sugar? What was the fucking Rice Krispies with the sugar on?
Ricicles.
Ricicles with the little. You had Stack on top and the little superhero dude, little like
Yeah, the little Astro dude. Yeah.
astronaut. Yeah. Fuck yeah! I love to, mate. I want a bowl of cereal. She's probably got that fruity shit that Tony likes. Ah, Special K and all that. Oh, strawberries. Okay, so anyone else fancy a bowl of cereals? I want a bowl like Tony's, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I need to go and invest.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go for a quick little midnight snack.
Talks with Dorks merchandise. Let's get some cereal bowls.
Yeah.
Talks with Dorks cereal bowls going. We fucking love it. Right, last thing before we wrap up, and this is something that's not on the list. Right, you're in your kind of office, Tony. You're in your office, right? Are you in your front room or are you in your office?
Me, I'm in the office.
Tony?
Dining room.
Dining room. Okay. Right. I'm obviously in the bedroom I grew up in, which is where still, even though I don't live here now, I still haven't moved all my cool shit from. Tony, you can probably appreciate the Power Ranger collection that's up there. But
Yeah.
you might need to, because you're not in your, you might not have anything to hand. But because we're going to get people, this is the point of the podcast. If you're listening, you need to make sure you're on YouTube for this bit. I want you to get or grab the coolest thing, like that you can find to hand. So what can you grab? I can go first. I've got two to hand that I've been prepared for. Can you grab anything?
Ooh.
I'm going to grab my first one.
Mine's literally football related.
Yeah, but that's cool. Whatever you can grab. Tony might have to go and grab something.
Ooh.
Don't get your penis out,
Mate,
please.
you've caught me off guard here. My house is designed by my missus, and we're completely minimalist. Like, I'm looking into my living room, and there's a fucking sofa and some kids' babies' toys. All my gear's upstairs in the bedroom where she's sleeping.
Yeah, this might.
So I guess there's that. For now.
This might have to
There's
be
that.
homework for next time, right? Bring something
Yeah,
to
I should have prepared you for this, but it's because I'm in my, like you say, Tony, I've been lived in my place for a year and a half. I've been trying to get my missus to like sort out the office, the fourth bedroom, which is basically just got all the washing in. It's got my desk in that I purposely bought for that fucking room, just filled with her shit. So all my stuff is still here. So all my cool shit is still here. So I had it to hand. So the first thing I've got, 89 grapple gun.
Nice.
You ping it, but the batteries run out, and they take some weird batteries. They're like AA batteries, but half ones.
Yeah.
They're called like LR4s, but I've got my grapple gun. Right, Ryan, what have you got?
Nice.
Anything to grab?
I've just got an old photo. Tony's not gonna like this, but it's an old Man United photo.
A classic team. They're the ones that I
Appreciate it.
remember playing for Man United.
Yeah.
I remember the
Yeah.
players.
That was Grandad's, so that was like.
I remember it.
Then my dad had, then now I have. So that's cool.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna go for the last thing that I've got, and this is just now about me because I've got all the fucking cool things to have. But I'm gonna take my head out for a second. I'm gonna just do this.
Nice, man.
Yeah, we can
Nice.
I can't hear you because I've got the fucking headphones over it. But yeah, hang on. Let me go out. Hold on. I don't want anyone to see my bald head. But I had to take, because I've got the ring light up there, I had to take my Lord Draken helmet down. So I was like, that's definitely going to be used in the podcast later. My Power Rangers helmets are my favorite part of my collection. I've got how many Power Rangers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Power Ranger helmets, 1 Lord Zed, and a Spider-Man helmet. Oh, and Darth Vader, but I'm not allowed to talk about that because that could be missing from someone's collection, and I'm.
Oh, naughty.
Long story short, my uncle basically does removals for like international movals. I used to work for him. Like, so you'd be people moving from like fucking America over here and stuff like that. And one day he rung me up, and I should not be saying this on the podcast. And he was like, "Right, listen, I'm on my way to yours. I've got something for him." All right. He went, "I've got a Darth Vader." I went, "All right." He went, basically, long story short, there's that we've been doing a house and there was a box missing, and we told him that it's been lost in the other end. Then we got back to the yard and it was sitting there, but because we've already told them, they signed it, they're blaming them. We can't go to own up that we've got it. And it's Darth Vader in there. So I'm expecting like a Darth Vader figure. No, I got a fucking Darth Vader helmet that is fucking full size. I got a boot. I got the cape and the fucking, the chest piece, and the fucking belt. So I'm like, so there's a boot and the actual costume somewhere, but The other stuff's in the show, but the helmet's up there. So yeah, that could be. I don't know whether it's like a display unit. I don't know whether it's like screen used. I'm assuming probably not screen used because I think the screen used would be a bit bigger. But yeah, it's
That's
a bit
cool.
awkward.
Cool
That is
story.
fucking
Probably shouldn't have said that on the
cool
podcast.
story, bro. Yeah. Ah, man, I've said some.
I'll make everyone forget about what you've just said by saying what I told you earlier, that I'm probably the only person in the entire world, this is only me that's probably seen this with their bare eyes, is seen a Orthodox Jewish man wanking inside a Chewbacca costume.
You put this in a message, and this was going to be
Yeah.
your interesting fact, wasn't it? If we did interesting facts on that thing, we need some context now, Tony, right? Because this is the second time I've heard about it. What was you overage when you saw this? Or
Yeah, no, and this
Uncle Ryan
when I
moment.
say when I say seen it, I mean, like, in the same movie. This wasn't on the internet. It wasn't on the hub. It wasn't on Rotten.com or anything like that. It was in front of me, as close as I am to the screen now. It was there. Very long story, but in a short way, is I used to manage a costume shop in Camden called Escapade. So yeah, fancy dress and costume. We had a higher movie quality Chewbacca costume. A Orthodox Jewish man came in, and eventually he wanted to try it on. He was in the changing rooms for a hell of a long time, so I kept asking, like, "Is everything all right? Do you need help getting into the damn thing?" Wouldn't answer, so I had to make sure he was all right. So I just went into the changing rooms, opened the curtain, and there he is, Chewbacca mask on, Chewbacca costume on, but because it done up round the back, he had one arm out of it, and he was just like looking in the mirror, just going at it, and just shut the curtain. I was like, "Mate, you need to stop that." And then he came out a couple of minutes later, chucked the whole costume on the counter, he legged it off, and there I was, just looking at this wanked on Chewbacca costume, and
Which now hangs up
yeah.
in my wardrobe. He went in to dress up as Chewbacca, but ended up having a Han Solo. Oh, Revenge of the Fist. I
And
could
on
do
that
these
note, much
things.
love, good night.
Yeah, we're off. That actually brings us to the end. I think we've covered everything, boys. Before I go into my final speech about everything, tell me, how you found it? How have you enjoyed this?
Loved it.
Loved it. I'm looking forward to doing more. I will do more, and we should definitely get this next one sorted out. Now I've got my mic. That works. That's here. Got the setup working. I'm here, mate. I'm here for it.
Well, we're down and we've got so much to do. We can come back after WrestleMania. Obviously, this is probably where we're going to have the wrestling talks with you guys. So we could even potentially, like my other nephew Kyle I was saying to him, Mike, because he's been listening since episode 1, and he's the one that's been on at me to do video ones. Maybe even get him in for another person to talk WrestleMania. If we can get him to get a mic, it's better internet. He lives on a farm.
I'll be down for doing a WrestleMania watch along. But other than that, yeah, I'm more than happy to be on. Maybe not for 3 hours again, but yeah, I'm more than happy to be a part of this going forward and see where we go.
It's been good. It's it's season 2. It's the launch of season 2. It's good to do a long one. Maybe not every single one be this long, but yeah, it's been really good.
With hour and 20 was meant to be where we've always done these episodes, but listen, this has been fun. We've had a good conversation. Sometimes they just flow on, and like I said, this is now starting to wrap up because you guys might be listening to this at 8 in the morning. This is 20 past 11. I've got some gaming to do. Ryan's got probably some editing to do. I'm probably going to do some editing as well, maybe tomorrow. But this will be coming out soon. Talks with Dorks is back. Yes, but this is like the third time we come back because we had the bit of a break with me and Ash. But this is the launch of season 2. Don't worry if you are those people that are here just for Ash and you're thinking, I just want to listen to Ash. Ash will be back. But we've done this so we can grow Talks with Dorks, bring other people in. We're talking with more dorks. There's another one right there in an Arsenal shirt. There's that one there with his cap backwards. He's our producer. He's one of the co-hosts now. Hopefully next time we'll get him to wear a better T-shirt. In his Arsenal shirt. Talks with Dorks is all over social media. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We're on Facebook at Talk Dork Podcast. We're also on YouTube. If you're not watching and you're just listening, just search Talks with Dorks or at Talk Dork Podcast. You'll find us. There is I should mention them. There is another Talks with Dorks podcast, but they've got like 4 followers. So no offense to them guys. I think we're going to take the name and we're going to run with it because that's just how we do. That's our social media. Let's do our individual ones, boys. I'll start with me. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, as at the DJ Ryan S. Tony, go with yours.
Mainly find me on TikTok, Tony of Bingus.
Yeah,
That's where I.
and I'm at TikTok, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. II Ryan HD with 2 A's in my name.
So Iron HD.
Yeah.
This is Talk with Dorks. I'm Ryan. That's Tony. That's Woody. Boys, I always say this to Ash. Have you got any final words to say before we go?
Just thanks for having us on. And
Tony?
forward to season 2.
Peace out, you bunch of yogurt chewers.
See you later.